Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name's David Turner and I'm here with Matt Murray.
Hello.
James Farley.
Hello.
And Sean Bell.
Happy New Year, everyone. Everything's fine now, isn't it? Everything's sorted. Back to normal.
It's all brilliant.
It's great.
You not turn the telly on today?
No, why has something happened?
Let's just say we should all hope for a new Animal Crossing soon. Otherwise, we are in trouble.
Or a new Tiger King.
What better way to start the year by announcing our Patreon producers for this month? Yes, they are the Full Nels crew. Introducing to you Aaron Patrick, Simon Nelson, Tom S., Jack Oven, Moomin Biscuit, Richard Sawyer, Dave Ernsberger, Colin Brown, Gasman, Gabby Pereira, Fuzzballs, Jill Fridge, and Sluggish Bubble. What a crew that is. They went full Nels. You can go full Nels by going to patreon.com/TCGS, or there are various different tiers there. You can get a bonus podcast, you can watch our live talks over, and get other content. No, that's all the content, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's all the
don't
content.
oversell it.
That's all you're getting. But if you want your name read out with the elite, with the full Nels crew,
have we talked about the fact that that's been officially renamed? Have we mentioned that on the show yet?
I hadn't noticed. But
Me
apparently
neither.
Matt did it ages ago.
Yeah, I did it when we rebranded to TCGS.
Oh shit!
And
That
never
is
mentioned
like
it.
I know, that is. You know why he never mentioned it? Because he didn't want to admit defeat. Because when we were talking about that top tier, I was like, it's got to be called the Full Nelson. It's got to be Full Nelson.
Notice. I mean, I knew for a fact could be 5 to 10 years before James mentioned it or noticed, or maybe never.
That's true.
Can't even remember what they're called, honestly. What all the things are. The only one I know is Full Nels. I don't know what the other ones are called.
Exactly. Oh, mate, I'm so proud of that. I was shot down when I said I wanted it to be called Full Nels, and now look at you. It's the only one anyone remembers.
I think it's because it's been
best.
so long now. The idea of it being a reference to Major Nelson has completely gone away. It's just taken on its own life now, hasn't it?
Not for me, Sean. Not for me. His little face pops into my head the moment I say it. Every time. I absolutely love it. How we all been? Look, it's been a bit of a break. It not only feels like a bit of a break from the podcast, right? But it also feels like it's been a bit of a break from us as well. Have you not found that?
Yeah, we've not really talked that much, have we?
We have been quite in the
We
group,
haven't,
isn't
have
it?
we? We really haven't. It's usually that WhatsApp group is just going off all day, which is great. You know, I like it. And I wasn't upset that it went quiet, but it went very quiet over Christmas and New Year's between the four of us. And I don't know if that was just us saying, look, we've spoken far too much this year. Like, we've spoken far too much. Or there was some genuine bitterness over the Game of the Year show. I'm not quite sure which way that's gone. But
I'm fine. I got what I wanted this year, so I'm all right.
well, I was well happy, mate.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm sure you two are very happy. It's been a bit of both, actually.
Decision.
A bit of both.
James, how's the alcohol in the blood level?
How's the hangover, baby?
Looking at the moment?
Still hungover, baby. Still being sick this morning, baby.
It's wonderful because this year was nowhere near as bad as last year. Like, honestly, it wasn't. And I pretty much felt like I'd sobered up by the end of the evening. It was not bad.
Hold on, wait. You
So what
said
evening?
at one point during the show, this is worse than last year.
Did I
So
say
either
that?
you're lying now or you were lying then.
I don't remember saying that.
Yeah, you said that. You don't even remember what you said.
No.
Of course you don't. You were blind drunk. You drunk a litre of whiskey for some reason.
But it wasn't as bad as last time.
Honestly,
'cause
it
really wasn't as bad because I didn't like in the next day I didn't wake up in the morning still feeling drunk. I mean I felt awful, but I didn't feel drunk, so it wasn't as bad as last time.
Well, maybe your tolerance level's getting through to it. Like your body's adjusting to drinking a litre of whiskey every year.
Yeah, it must be that every week.
And it's like, yeah.
See, the thing is, I wanted to diversify
Maybe
this year. I
that's
was going to
it.
go for vodka, but then everyone was like, no, you got to do whiskey. So, yeah. Next year.
Well, what do you mean, everyone?
You are a grown
Who's
man.
everyone?
You can do whatever you want. You know.
Wait, slow down, Sean. Who's everyone?
I did a poll.
Who was saying that to you?
I did a poll. And it's like, I don't know.
Did
about,
you?
Yeah, about 70 people or whatever
You
voted.
did a Twitter poll.
And yeah,
Well, I'm
they
sure
went for
the
whiskey.
Russian bots got their vote.
Probably, yeah.
They were happy with the way they voted. Okay, well, that's enough of what we think. Let's get to our listeners. What did they think of the Game of the Year show, Matt? All loved it. Did they know controversy? I'm guessing no one's asking us to change the format because it doesn't work. It's out. I'm sure everyone loved it, right?
Of course, we wouldn't get any comments about them wanting to change it. That would be stupid. Dan W. Hi all. I want to start by saying I've been listening since January. After a friend at work suggested a podcast, and I love it. You guys are great. I look forward to listening every week.
I'll stop you there. Dan W., thank you very much. That's very nice to say. Also, your mate at work, you're doing the good work. That's what we need. We need people turning around to other people saying, listen to these guys, they're great. And if they come back and say, I listened to it, it wasn't that good, punch them in the face.
Yeah, I mean, if everyone listening now told someone else at work, that's like upwards of 10 extra listeners. So everyone do that, please. That will be incredible.
You can do Zoom, Matt. You can mention it as Zoom. You can do it on a Zoom.
Just start playing it. Just start playing it during a meeting. Yeah, just
It's on a Zoom.
Sorry about that. That was actually the hit UK Games podcast, the computer game show. Sorry.
I mean, maybe change your background.
I'll just put the link in the chat.
No, just maybe change your background. Just have the link in the background. You know, the logo, the whole thing.
Do you know what? I should make Zoom backgrounds.
I remember when we did a competition when we were on Play Radio to try and get as many of our listeners to advertise the podcast as possible. The idea, Nick from Alex Zane. And I think maybe we need to consider that again. But hopefully this time we don't go with Namco Bandai or whatever to provide a prize because they did not provide that prize. Right, should we continue with this email?
Yeah, Dan W. continues. Coming up to Game of the Year, I was excited, but my friend warned me this isn't like other Game of the Year shows, and he wasn't wrong. The last 41 minutes of the Game of the Year show was some of the most mental stuff I've ever heard. I love both games. I want to make that clear. The Last of Us 2, Last of Us Part 2 and Hades were both gaming highlights this year, but as I listened, I realised what was going to happen. Matt and James were going to lose it for The Last of Us Part 2, as one was drunk and the other seemingly couldn't think of any praise to heap on a game that was graphically incredible, set the bar for stories, and personally made me care for a character I despised at the beginning of the game. I could speak for hours about how I loved The Last of Us Part 2, but James could barely notice what was going on, and Matt seemed to repeat what was good without giving any details. So I guess my feedback is, if Game of the Year is won each year based on the person who can argue their point better, surely let Dave pick. The guy seems to run rings around you all until you all concede. You were all talking Game of the Year while Dave was playing 4D chess with your minds and getting his way.
Sorry,
the podcast made me so mad, but I loved it. I will now make my way through the other Game of the Year shows to see how much Dave destroys you all, except maybe Sean. Again, love the podcast. You're all amazing.
Was I not there?
No, you were there, Sean, just busily betraying us all, like as it went on. It was, you know.
I wasn't betraying anyone. What are you talking about?
Wait, hold on. Where's that come from, James? Where's the betrayal coming from?
The, like revealing, all the, the schemes that were going on and all that. I mean, that was a bit off.
It was a good bit, though, wasn't
it? So what you've done there, James, is said that Sean was busy betraying everyone by exposing you trying to betray everyone.
Yeah, but at least I was doing it. Listen,
that doesn't work.
But at least I was doing it sneakily behind everyone's back.
I was doing it secretly and behind your backs. I love you, James. I mean, Matt, James, this was directed at you. You should respond, really.
I think I definitely covered how good the story was, how good it looked graphically, all that stuff on both this show.
Yeah, no, he says that you did that, but you didn't go into the detail.
I think he actually... Didn't he say I didn't?
He said you did. You repeated those points over and over again, and you've responded by repeating the points. I mean, Matt, you're not doing well here. Listen.
No, he said he couldn't think of any praise to heap on a game that was, and then listed all those things I also listed.
Okay, all right.
Anyway, yeah, I mean, I basically I was struggling towards the end because I knew I was never going to change Sean's mind and never going to change Dave's mind, and James was too drunk next to me. I didn't really have any backup. It was me versus Dave and Sean.
That's not true either. That's not true. I was totally going to change. Like that was the whole point.
Well, we knew what you were going to do. We absolutely like, let's paint these guys as the enemies.
Yeah, I was going to say, to be fair, Dave, that was a trap. To be fair.
100%.
I mean, it was a very obvious trap. I mean, it was a trap. I was really drunk,
hold on,
and I could still tell it was a trap. It was obvious what was going on.
Sean, it was a trap that I was fully willing to jump in myself. To be the hero. that was the plan. I would have switched, but
You would have been the hero, Dave, because
James.
you're basically paying us out to be the enemies and, the enemy
Correct.
of podcasts.
So if you're the enemies
you guys are going to
and I'm
ruin this for
against
everyone
you-
else, but I will change so you guys can ruin it and I'll ruin it with you. That's what you're doing. You're painting me and James as the bad guys.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
And who goes up against the bad guys?
Batman?
The heroes, right? Me, exactly. I'm basically Batman's.
You
All right?
ain't no hero, Dave.
That's right.
You ain't no hero.
Well, then why did you jump on a fire for me, James?
'Cause I had no choice at that moment in time.
He was too inebriated. Anyway, I mean, we did an amazing. So I was good. Anyway, we did a great The Last of Us Part 2 spoiler cast, which I loved, and it was like 2 or 3 hours. So if you want to listen to my thoughts really on The Last of Us Part 2, go there. Another thing I kind of felt hamstrung by was the fact that we weren't really talking about spoilers. There was loads.
No, I said we should be talking about spoilers. I said that. I said we should have spoken about spoilers. That Game of the Year show, we should be able to go into spoilers, I think. But I was shot down when I said that in the podcast. I was trying to help you out, Matt.
Yeah, anyway.
I was shot down.
I was happy, Last of Us 2 got to where it was. It was never going to win. Because I was never going to turn Sean.
What makes you say I think
I saw Hades. I saw Hades winning. I almost stopped myself there, wondering if there's a spoiler. People have heard it. I knew Hades was going to win like months ago. It's just so bloody obvious. That's why I was trying to do everything in my power to stop it winning. Because great.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I was.
Oh yeah, it was nailed on. It was. I just thought. Hades is going to win. Great. It's like, it's an amazing game. I'm not denying that, but it's just
why
so
did you
obvious.
think that?
It just
because it's so obvious because it's such a better game. Is that what? Is that where the mind is going?
It just felt obvious. Like, great, okay, that's going to win because we've all played it. And The Last of Us. I mean, loads of people would have ripped into us for sure for choosing Last of Us, even though I think it is definitely the better game of the two. Yeah. I mean, the thing is, I absolutely love Hades, and I didn't actually get a chance to say that on the show because I was fully fighting for Last of Us Part 2 at all points.
This is the problem. Matt.
So I'm never fully
if you want a bit of
advice,
if you want a bit of advice for next year, don't focus on the competition. Focus on the game. Focus on the game, mate. Yeah? You look at that game that you love and you really drill into why you love it so much. That's what you got to do. Don't focus on the battle because that's where you fall over. Yeah? Focus on the game.
Don't tell me how to play the game, Dave. I am the game.
No, you're not. You've lost it God knows how many years running.
I won last year.
Let's go. You did win last year. Yeah, I'm still bitter about that.
Yours.
Yeah,
Lord Justice has messaged us regarding Game of the Year wildcard vote tampering. Yeah, that fucking happened as well, didn't it? Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Okay. You specifically requested that the vote this year was not messed around
Should
with.
we just stop recording now and just say, fuck it, let's come back next week?
What's the point?
I know that's what James has been asking for the past few days, so we might as well go ahead with that.
Until the Patreon money came in, then he changed his tune.
Yeah, this is the earliest we've ever recorded in January because normally
I think
James
is
swanning around the planet, doing all sorts of stuff. But this year,
thanks, Matt.
We're recording quite early in January. I'm loving it.
Sorry, James. Go on. Right, let's go.
Did you have a word to say there, James?
I did. It was part of a running joke, but you didn't get it. Continue.
Sorry, it's probably because you're like 5 seconds behind in the recording tonight.
Yeah, it's true. Go on.
Yeah, I'll start with Lord Justice again. Regarding Game of the Year wildcard vote tampering, you've specifically requested that the vote this year was not messed around with. You wanted votes to be cast in an honest manner. I think pretty much everyone appreciated this, having the chance to introduce a game into the Game of the Year discussion based on merit, rather than interference, shenanigans, or agenda. But then we all witnessed the greatest injustice in British podcasting history, reaching positively Brexit levels of personality-based appeals for votes to be cast. Telling the listeners to not vote for what they consider to be the best game, but instead directly instructing them to vote upon your instruction to further your own agenda. Telling the public to vote potentially against their best interests or honesty, not voting for the right reasons, but to vote how you demanded, knowing the listeners would simply comply. If the last 5 years of popular politics has taught us anything, it's that the public will do as they're told by sufficiently charismatic personalities.
Cheers, man.
Yeah, they will not question why they are being instructed to vote this way. They'll just fall in line like good little racist podcast listeners. Sorry about that.
Oh,
he wasn't. No, he wasn't implying our podcast listeners are racist.
it sounds like it was. Read the name again. Was it Lord Justice?
Let's not get political. People will block us on Twitter. In the first draw of the Gotti show, David made a very clear point of asking the question. The question being, do you genuinely think Game X is a better game than Game Y? Even rephrasing the question to post it as the most important consideration when comparing games in the Gotti competition. This shows that David has an understanding of what the Gotti is about, which makes his willful and reckless demands in tampering with the wildcard vote all more heinous. The vote wasn't tampered by bots, it was tampered with by you. The opportunity of an honest public vote for the best underrepresented game was once again abused into irrelevance, and the voices of genuine game enthusiasts were silenced. The public should have been allowed an unmolested opportunity to apply David's question to a list of proposed wildcards for themselves, voting on what they genuinely believe to be the better game or their favourite. Instead, the public vote was yet again reduced to a farce by external meddling. Truly disgraceful, especially following your own apparent distaste at the public vote being influenced unfairly. Maybe it's only unacceptable for the vote to be abused by people that aren't you. A full inquiry is to follow.
Yes.
Right, okay. The further you get into this email, the more it sounds like you pay for the bots. Lord Justice.
Lord Justice, right? If you go to a stand-up show and someone starts heckling and the stand-up comedian says, look, can you not do that? Do you stand up and go, well, you're just telling jokes to everyone in the audience? You're just trying to say funny things, make everyone laugh. What's the difference?
Yeah, we can all do that.
It's true. Get off the stage, Lord Justice. You don't belong here. Also, you definitely paid for those bots. Blatantly. A full inquiry to follow. Yeah, well, what's the inquiry? Yeah, I did it.
Yeah, into my PayPal receipts, is it? Okay. Graham, here lads, maybe next year just ask Dave what the Gotti is, because none of the rest of you have the balls to debate him. Much love from Bavaria.
Again,
Thank you.
I didn't have the balls to debate him because I didn't disagree with him. So what's
What in any round, Sean? In any round?
Yeah, I debated him the other round.
Sean chose the right side. That's what he did. He's got some brains, that boy.
I got smart and I decided to just stick with the bully and just
See, the only way it's worked in the past. The only way it's worked in the past is when we've taken him out early on, like with Titanfall, and then he was reeling for the rest of the pod.
That's what we had to do.
That's what you wanted to do this time.
It's the only way you do it. You have to. We had to knock him out early, and then he's reeling, and then it's just.
Look, I've seen the word
show him his
bully.
boss.
Yeah.
I've seen the word bully being banned around in our emails, and you've just mentioned it there. How is that bullying by having a better argument?
No, I was joking.
Well, you watch it, you.
No, it wasn't necessarily a better argument, Dave. It's because you had two of you defending it, and it was me and James.
So you fully blame James Farley, do you, Matt?
I don't know. I definitely blame myself because I'm shit at arguing for games. But...
Oh no! You said there that it was me and then James. Like you blatantly think this is James's fault, right?
I'll tell you what.
There's definitely.
I was going to say. I'll tell you what didn't work for me this time was the fact that my games got drawn out at the wrong time. I was hoping they get drawn out early.
Every year you fucking say that.
2 years ago,
Every
James.
year he says this.
No, but I hope
Every year he
that
says, they were drawn out at the wrong time.
No, because that's the thing. They were drawn out late into the game, and then that's always not great if you're drinking any alcohol. It doesn't work out.
James, listen. Everyone gets drawn out all over the place. It's random. That's the whole point. You can't rely on. You can't rely on that. Maybe don't crack the bottle until the quarterfinals next time. How about that?
Yeah, maybe I'll do that.
And why am I giving you advice? Also, go further into why you think James lost you that vote, Matt, because I want to kind of split you two up for the whole year so that next year it gets even easier. That's the idea.
Well,
that's
he
the
couldn't string
idea.
an argument together, that's why. I mean, I had to defend Astrobot, which I was happy to do because it's a fantastic game.
And you did a very good job with that, Matt.
It's brilliant. I told you what I...
Thank you.
Okay, fine, go on.
Okay, yeah, great job there, Dave.
I didn't expect you to slate James and then James to go, yeah, you are right. That does not happen when I slate James. It's the complete opposite. But go on.
I'm not slating James, but it's very clear. It's like 2 versus 1.5. You know.
James, you're a 1.5 to Matt. You do know
No,
this,
it's a
right?
0.5, Dave. Do the maths.
No, the thing is, I mean, he's right. In this case, after what happened on that show, he's absolutely right. I hold my hands up. I was useless towards the end of that.
When you go to a club, he did not want to do the pod. It's off his face.
Okay, let's move on.
Adam Littlefield, Happy New Year, and I hope this finds you well. Thank you. I played Paradise Killer after the conversation about it during the GOTY show, and I have to say it's undoubtedly the best game I've played from 2020. The plot, the island travelling, and the most incredible soundtrack combined to something that will be on my mind for a long time to come. I hit a wall with Hades and have no interest in playing The Last of Us Part 2, so thanks for finally giving me the nudge to play something amazing. What I liked most about the game was it felt like a labour of love. Something weird about it reminded me of those weird... it did say weird twice. Something weird about it reminded me of those weird C64 games that never made a lot of sense, but it felt wholly representative of the designer's vision. Would you guys ever consider a GOTY revisited show in, say, the spring to talk back over the things you missed the previous year or pull each other back over the coals? If nothing else, Paradise Killer has made me realise you don't have to be a notepad fella to enjoy detective games at all. So I'm off to Obradin next. Thanks. Cheers all.
Maybe that's a future talks over,
or Obradin,
where we play specific arguments that we had, and then go over our thoughts. But maybe
Let's
later
relive
down the
the
line.
nightmares. Let's go.
I mean, I'm still really tempted to do a game of the generation show like that, or a specific console game of a console thing. But it's just finding the time. I'm sure that recording went on for hours and hours and hours. So it's just finding the time, but maybe we should try and sort something this year.
Yeah, I would like to. It would be good to do. I mean, James, as long as you promise not to drink, I think it would be cool.
Oh, you can't promise that. I'm going to be sending bottles of whiskey to his house in the lead up to the thing. Definitely.
Ronnie has messaged
Just once a year. It's fine, but no more than that.
Okay, sure.
Ronnie, whilst enjoying/enduring last year's GOTY show, surely it's now in need of an overhaul. Oh, hang on, this sounds weird. When an individual has to justify their choice of game to someone who hasn't played it, then the format is flawed, needs reviewing. I really like the fact that Giant Bomb have delayed their end of year review until January, giving extra valuable time to put into certain titles or to play anything that has been overlooked. A sensible approach would be to give a more balanced discussion. I realise this won't be taken up as David is able to bully himself into getting his choice. Good show regardless, though. Just before we get into this, Dave, why have Giant Bomb delayed it? I don't always listen to every minute of every show now.
I don't know. I haven't been listening either recently.
I know they have. It's annoying because that's like one genuinely, one of the highlights of like the Christmas break. Listen to that between Christmas and New Year. And I knew they had delayed it, but I didn't really hear why. But
all I'll say as a reply to that email, Ronnie, is this: go and listen to Giant Bomb's Game of the Year stuff when it comes out this month, right? And then see which one's more entertaining. And I think we'll just keep our format as it is. What do you reckon, guys? Keep it as it is.
Another month wouldn't make any difference anyway, right? It's not like we've all been hoovering
I
up.
was playing Paradise Killer. That sounds bad because actually I do kind of want to play it now because I've seen loads of messages since our Game of the Year show about it, and everything you guys said on that show made it sound really good. But it's like, in a month, like I'm going to be playing that. Now, I like it when I'm arguing against a game that I've not played. It's so good to just drop little bombshells in and make James go high pitched. It's we will be keeping the format. I think little tweaks here and there. We've been doing that every year, but we'll see.
Little tweaks like James not drinking, just a little tweak.
I can't believe we're already talking about next year's Game of the Year show.
You mean this year?
This year. Yeah, this year's.
There's only going to be about 3 games out this year, so it's going to be fun.
It's true.
6squid_games. Read Dr. Farley. Like Sean and Bruce Lee, I'm a teetotaler. I'm not making this declaration to be straight-edge soulmates, but instead to highlight the unique service your GOTY discussion has provided. Without a drop of whiskey in my blood, I was immersed in the world of nervous drinking throughout your podcast, and I owe this to Dr. Farley and his sound effects. The involuntary bangs against a piano in the cavernous garage, the smacks of a dry mouth declaring I might as well finish it off right after admitting I'm really drunk at the moment. A graduate student in future writing a dissertation on podcasting and drinking in the UK will be able to chart the ups and downs of this particular type of combo with forensic precision using this Gotti episode alone. Cheers to posterity.
Yeah. Love that, James.
Yeah, it wasn't. I don't think it was that great. Honestly, I wouldn't.
Were you just presenting those noises again? Your drunk noises again at the start.
Wasn't even aware of that. But yeah.
I mean, we've spoken about you drinking enough. I think we can probably move on, but it's not going unnoticed, is it?
I feel like we should point out if we thought James actually had like a problem, we wouldn't be making light of it. But it's just a little tradition now, isn't it?
I mean, he might be less of a worry with alcohol than you, Sean, to be honest with you, because James doesn't drink. We've said it on the show before. He's not a big drinker at all. I don't know where this has come from, because it's only been in the past couple of years that he suddenly decided to get absolutely slaughtered on those podcasts.
It's just because the Game of the Year show is so long. It goes on for. It just makes it more bearable, to like get through it like that.
Brilliant. We're trying to be promoting this show. It's trying to be our big year where we really come out, fighting and the numbers go up. And you're sitting there saying that our most popular show is more bearable when you're hammered and it goes on forever.
It does go on
forever.
forever.
When you do come to recommend... Sorry, go on, Matt.
No, James, do you know what makes the show go on even longer? It's when you can't even read the words in front of you. You can't even plan arguments.
Matt, can you write out the quote that James just said and put it in our media deck, please? Because I think
I'm thinking,
I was going to say, so, sure. Listeners, when you're recommending this podcast to one of your friends at work and they say, oh, is it good? So, well, yeah, it is, but it has driven one of the hosts to drink. So
it's 4 hours.
It's true.
It's long.
All right, go on. Let's go. Next.
Yeah, Happy Sinclair, this is the last Game of the Year related one. Happy New Year, gents. I hope you had all had a great Christmas, and thanks for the hours of brilliant entertainment you provided last year. I look forward to many more to come in 2021. The reason I'm writing today is that this week I couldn't help but notice that Dave posted up his top 10 games of the last generation, and on that list was The Last of Us Part 2, but no Hades. I can see from the replies to this tweet that Matt... I can see from the replies to this tweet and Matt's that others also picked up on this. Is Dave now saying that Last of Us Part 2 is a better game than Hades? And if so, why did he not vote for it in the final? I can only surmise that this is because Dave cares more about his choice winning than the sanctity of the TCGS Gotti result. Just like last year, Dave talked until finally someone cracked and his choice was the winner. Last year was Astrobot, mate. Last year was Life is Strange Life is Strange 2, isn't it?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I did do that last year as well, yeah.
But absolute fair play to him because it worked. I can only hope that come Gotti 2021, the rest of you will have wised up to his tactics and don't let games like Disco Elysium and The Last of Us Part 2 lose out on their rightful spot. Thanks for everything, guys.
I did do that on Twitter, and it was a calculated maneuver to try and get a rise out of Matt and James. That was what that was for.
Yeah.
They didn't respond.
No.
Well, Matt responded. I assume you did it back, right?
I did my own list. I don't really care about your thoughts and feelings.
Oh, really? Okay, because you made some weird choices as well on yours. I thought you were getting me back.
No, I just did my own list.
Brilliant. Okay, well let me bring your list up.
Although I will say, I mean, yeah, go on.
Because I put Last of Us on there and not Hades to try and get you to go. Hold on, what?
Yeah, but
how do you view your favourite?
Obvious troll is obvious, isn't it? With that, it's
but
Matt's saying it wasn't right.
Well, I just did my own list.
Okay, hold on. So your list, you put on Red Dead Redemption 2 at 4, and you didn't put Astrobot, the VR game, on your top 10.
Yeah, I mean, I forgot that actually after Naylor Ben mentioned it. I think that point says a lot. Red Dead Redemption 2 is definitely one of the best stories I've ever played, and I just must have forgotten, because that definitely will go on the list as well. They probably were knocked off something close to the bottom, but
Really?
Yeah,
It's still below Red
I hate
Dead.
lists.
Okay.
I fucking hate lists. I'm never.
Well,
good
mine
at
was intentionally to wind you up. Yours was a realization that you got it wrong, right?
them. No, mine was just a great list.
Okay, all right, fine. Okay.
Fact.
Have you got anything else on the Game of the Year show feedback?
Lots of people saying Merry Christmas. Ryan, Merry Christmas. Truly have cherished every episode this year. Thanks for being there. A lot of people saying thanks for making the year bearable, which is real nice.
Yeah, I love that stuff. Thank you so much for letting us know. Like, we might not read them out on the podcast every week, but the amount of people that emailed in saying that it got you through a tough year, and as we've said loads of times, we said it on the show last week, we said it on the bonus pod. Yeah, I mean, it does the same for us, really. It gives us some sort of consistency to stick to, so it kind of feels like we're in the same boat. But yeah, thanks to everyone that got in touch in that regard, because it's great to read.
Well, we've got these last couple actually. Dave Hodgins, hey crew, just finished the Gotti show and want to personally thank you for the great stuff you put out this year. Like a lot of people, I currently live on my own, albeit with a great social network in town. It's called Facebook. However, all the shows and streams and laugh have been stuck in my... all the great shows and streams and laughs have made being stuck in my tiny flat, not being able to see my friends as much or like much more bearable. I have nothing to complain about in hindsight. I'm incredibly lucky having a stable job and friends and family who are safe and well. Still, it's been difficult, and your shows have made things a little bit easier being shut in. I've been listening since JoyPod, never really got involved with the community or streams until this year. Special shout out to Discord, who have been incredibly welcoming. Nice to be part of an online community again for the first time since I stopped posting in Rollmark all those years ago. And was a prick named I Love Rage. Oh yeah, I remember I Love Rage. Anyway, thank you for making me. Yeah, well, no? A bit of a prick. Anyway, thanks for keeping me laughing this year.
Cheers, and thanks for getting in touch. And we're recording on Monday just after the announcement that we're going into another lockdown, and it's gonna fucking suck for a few months. But let's try and all stick together and wind James up. That's what gets us through it. If you see any sales on FIFA, message James. Remember on Twitter? Remember when he kept buying it?
I don't do that shit anymore.
Come on.
Have you not bought FIFA again for PS5, James?
Well, no, this is it. I checked, Matt, because I had to download the PlayStation app, right? Because you guys let me down. James didn't. You were my saviour there. You know that I'm in the market for a PS5 now. I'm going to get one early.
I told you about stopping for my Discord.
Yeah, that's fine. But then James texted me. I don't know why you did it privately, but James texted me and said, you do know it's the last day to claim bug snacks. So if you're getting a PS5, you might as well buy PS Plus and then claim bug snacks like now. And I was like, oh yeah, of course, yeah, I should do that. So I downloaded the PlayStation app and I went, while I'm here, I'll check to see James's trophy list, just to see if he has bought FIFA on the PS5, but unfortunately he hasn't.
No,
That's
I've
a
not
shame.
done that.
I did notice that, Matt, you've not loaded up your PS5 for, 20 days?
I think I did it over the Christmas holidays.
Okay. All right. You want to tell your PlayStation app lid? I was giving out false information about you.
Yeah, I have not played it over the Christmas break.
Dear.
I think I loaded up to... Yeah, no, because I was on a remote play because I got a controller thing. Anyway, we'll talk about that later.
You don't need to argue with me. I'm just going with the stats given to me from the official PlayStation app. That's fine.
That thing probably doesn't say that I just went to the menu.
Is that what you did? I don't know.
Yeah,
but bloody good menu. Thing. It's very good.
Bloody good menu, yeah. Amen to that, boy. And that's it for feedback. Thank you ever so much for everyone leaving feedback. If you want to leave your own feedback, go to tcgs.co/dear. No, is that
You nearly forgot. It's been that long.
Is that what is that? What is it?
tcgs.co/dear TCGS, isn't
that's the one, yeah, it's been a while. And I didn't scroll down. Yeah, that's the one. Go to tcgs.co/dear TCGS. You want to leave feedback at any time of day. It doesn't have to be Monday mornings, whenever you want.
Get in touch.
Do you know, it definitely doesn't have to be 7 p.m. on Monday evening. If you do that, it's not getting put on the dock. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know, but we can keep it there until the next week, can't we?
Yeah, we'll bounce it over.
No, we just delete it. We delete the inbox.
just in a rage, just like, oh, fuck you.
Well, listen, it's a big moment. It is a big moment. It's 2021. It's the first show of the year, and James Farley has got his shirt, his tie, and his suit on, He's staring directly down the lens, and he's going to force the news down your ear holes right now. Come on, James, let's have it.
This is the news. CG Projekt are having loads of problems, aren't they, at the moment? Over loads of different things.
Oh, I've not heard about this.
What are you doing now?
See, a lot of this happens over. I mean, it was just before the Christmas, wasn't it? Like, it was like after we'd recorded the Game of the Year show, I think.
The Christmas.
What?
The Christmas?
Oh, I don't know.
Just before the
You just
Christmas,
said
yeah.
It's just before the Christmas.
I don't know why I said that.
I would lose the if I were you. Just go at Christmas.
Yeah,
anyway, lots of things have happened since Cyberpunk came out. So I've got like a little. Can I just go through my little timeline I've put together here of things that have happened?
Oh, please do.
And you can sort of like.
You put this together.
He hasn't been doing work.
Stole it
He's
off-
on gamesindustry.biz.
Stole it off the
Dave.
internet, yeah. No. This is from different places.
Unbelievable.
This is from different places, and it's just like some
Okay,
events.
places all over the gamer network.
Right, okay.
Mostly.
Okay, all right,
Mostly,
let's
yeah.
go quiet. Let him read out this thing that you've stolen from somewhere.
Okay, so first of all, like CG Projekt like insisted that Cyberpunk had covered all its development and marketing costs, and it was a massive success. Like before it had even come out, like they were like, "Oh, it's been brilliant. We've made tons of money. It's great. Everyone's getting their bonuses, even though there's bugs. It's fine. It's all fine." Then they apologised for not showing.
Can I just say, before you move on, that was the weirdest one, because we probably ain't going back to the start of this once you've finished. That was the weirdest bit for me.
Mm-hmm.
When they announced they covered their costs.
Yeah.
Why? Why did they do that?
Yeah,
What a weird
because
statement.
all I heard when they said that was like, so you could have taken longer and not made your staff crunch to get it out when you did,
Or just, your experience and shit. It is literally like that scene
got
from The
ours.
Office, Sean.
pull the ladder up, Jack. Yeah, like it's just
It's just odd, isn't it?
I've been
Because you wouldn't.
promoted, but you're all being made redundant.
That's the thing. Like, you're not going to get like on Nintendo Direct them coming out and saying like, "Oh, Animal Crossing covered its costs." Like it's done very well. We're very pleased.
no updates.
Yeah, it was
Don't
a
give a shit,
bizarre
mate.
one. Yeah.
But yeah, so they had that, and then they apologised for not showing the PS4 and Xbox One versions before launch, because then it turned out that obviously they'd just been showing PC, presumably, and then a bit of like PS4 Pro and
Well,
Xbox
no,
One X.
because they did those videos, didn't they? Saying like, yeah, look, here's just to prove that it's going to look good on whatever hardware you use. Here's it on a PS4 Pro and an Xbox One X.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, hang on, what about the original Xbox? What about the Series S? What about the base PS4?
Don't worry about that.
I mean,
it'll be fine, but it wasn't.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it was just by omitting them, it was a pretty clear signal, wasn't it, in hindsight? But
So we had that. So that was people obviously not happy about that. Then there was the epilepsy stuff, where it turned out that there was something which like triggered epilepsy, in people, and they had to like release an urgent safety update for it, and so that wasn't very good.
It wasn't that urgent. It was like a couple of weeks, I think.
Yeah, well,
It was instant on the in the PC version, but I think it took a while for them to patch it.
Well, I
into the
remember
console
like
ones, yeah.
hearing it was a thing like before the game had come out, and I definitely saw.
Oh, God, yeah.
I definitely saw it with the problematic flashing. Which
Oh God, yeah, that's right at the start.
yeah.
It's right near the start. That starts. It's crazy.
Yeah.
so we had that, and then
And to be fair, I mean, sorry. I mean, do you want me to chip in now?
Yeah, go for it.
Because there's so much stuff to cut. Is that all right? So obviously, I mean, yeah. So Dave and I have. So have you seen the flashing that was causing people seizures, Dave?
Yes.
No, I'm not defending it, but were you also amazed that was enough to set?
No, because I knew that. I think had I not known about it, put it this way, had I not known that was a trigger for epilepsy, I wouldn't have sat there thinking,
Yeah.
this is a trigger
Hang on
for
a minute.
epilepsy,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I've never experienced it, so I've got no.
Because I was
got that
expecting
association with
like a full-on, you see like, footage of like a club or whatever, and there's like full-on strobes and stuff. And you're like, oh, to be fair, that is a bit fucking much. To me, it wasn't anywhere close, but obviously I'm not discounting, the fact that it was dangerous. To me, it seemed like someone probably thought, oh, this'll look like authentic and cool, and sort of took a real world reference for that effect, and with catastrophic results. And I can't believe no one picked up on it.
Yeah, that's the thing that gets me, because I looked at it and I thought that was really cool. Like, I thought that whole scene was cool.
Yeah.
but then obviously it's horrific for people that do suffer, and how that wasn't picked up on at any point is beyond me really, because we've had epilepsy warnings in video games for years now, so you would assume that there was some sort of checking process for that, but clearly not.
I mean, and like either within CD Projekt Red or at either Sony or Microsoft, who've had to who are normally really harsh with certification stuff. Except clearly they haven't been on this instance, but we'll get to that, I guess.
Yeah, and then so after that, Sony then pulled, well, not directly after that, but Sony pulled like the game from the PlayStation Store and started offering refunds. Then Microsoft did the same as well, and then also, but then first of all though, they didn't take it completely off the store, did they? Is it still there? Because I know that they added a performance issue warning, didn't they? Like if you tried to buy it, they just said.
So I think
it's still on the Microsoft
Sony pulled
store.
it, didn't they?
It's just PlayStation it got removed from.
Right. Okay. So it's still.
So you can still buy it on the Xbox, but it has a warning.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Then a bit later on, how do I always never know how to pronounce this. Do I just say GOG or do I just say Good Old Games, or what do I say?
Just say GOG.
I think GOG.
Okay, so then GOG advised that if you're playing this on PC, that you should keep a lower amount of items in your inventory, because if you didn't, then it would corrupt your save file and then render it unplayable. After a period of time.
Just say if I got above 8 meg, it basically corrupted.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think they did fix that in a patch, but they fixed basically they fixed the fact they can go over 8 meg now. But it's obviously, if your save's still fucked, it's fucked. It can't be fixed.
Yeah.
And this was people were, one thing you can do quite easily in the game to get your crafting skills up is just sit there, just churn out items basically, so people were just making shitloads of pistols or whatever and then selling them. But if your inventory gets too full, it just fucks your save.
So there was that, and then there's just been obviously the tons and tons of just videos and memes and everything of terrible bugs that have been going on, all the stuff whereby isn't it, if there's a car and then it goes behind you, it disappears? Is that one?
It's quite often, yeah. Same with the pedestrians for various reasons as well. There are reliable ways to trigger it.
There was that, and I saw another one, the one with the children as well, where it's the children are just miniature adults.
That's horrendous, isn't it? Yeah.
This is the thing, and the point that's been made, sort of a couple of weeks after release, is that things like this aren't actually bugs. These are designed solutions to problems. The fact that the game had so many bugs in it, sort of, the disappearing cars and people and stuff. That's not a bug. That's just the game doing its in memory management, and it's built to do that. But the fact there's so many bugs, people sort of waving away things like that are actually by design.
And the kids being adults, but in child sizes. That I think other people think, and actually mentioned other games like Fallout or some other games where actually it's not uncommon for that to be the case, but it's still horrific to see.
Still weird, yeah. I must admit, I hadn't noticed in the game itself, but as soon as it was pointed out, pretty bad.
Yeah, that's some of the worst problems about these bugs, that you probably wouldn't notice them yourself until they're pointed out. The whole traffic one, where you could turn around and then turn back and the cars disappear or whatever. That was I looked at that and thought, that I would never have worked that out myself. I would never pick that up. But then now I can't stop doing it. I went on and tried it straight away and just went, yeah, that happens. So that's annoying. Yeah.
So all of this has gone on, and then just recently, very recently, Rosen Law Firm has announced a class action lawsuit against CD Projekt because they're alleging that executives lied to investors about the state of the game on the Xbox One and PlayStation 4. So they're claiming that CD Projekt management failed to disclose that the game was virtually unplayable, in inverted commas, on the consoles due to an enormous amount of bugs. And defendant statements about its business, operations and prospects were materially false and misleading and or lacked a reasonable basis at all relevant times. When the true details into the market, the lawsuit claims that investors suffered damages because of this. And, CD Projekt have responded. They've said that the complaint does not specify the quantity of damages sought, and they've said that they're going to undertake vigorous action to defend itself against any such claims. So, yeah, they're being sued.
If I remember rightly, stuff like this is actually quite hard to argue, because I remember with the whole, like, you remember No Man's Sky, there was that whole thing of, loads of fans were like, we're going to sue them. But then, like, a solicitor looks at it and it says, like, right, so in the trailer it shows dinosaurs and alien planets. Well, it's fucking got that. What's your problem? There's not, like...
Yeah, that's it's the phrase virtually unplayable, isn't it? And
I think
where's the threshold for that?
There's a bit of a difference here with this, though, because this, if you look at, like, Sony offering all these refunds, and then taking it off their store, you could look at that and say maybe that's evidence that actually they're correct.
So it's an admission of it clearly not being up to scratch. And like I'm not, I'm not like playing down the issues of Cyberpunk. Like it's fucking horrific on your base Xbox One and PS4. Just in legal terms, it's often quite tricky to argue these things, I think.
Because with No Man's Sky,
I was about to say, in legal terms, it was taken off of the PS4 store, but they were offered instant refunds. So
exactly though, because then isn't that an admittance that the game doesn't work, like that it's broken? And then you've also got
but you're
on
not
the Microsoft store saying the same thing.
You can't claim for damages if you've been given
they're
full
not.
refund.
No, they're not claiming for damages though. They're claiming it's the investors are claiming damages. Like investors in CD Projekt are saying that because of this, they've lost like market share and everything. And so they've lost investment.
That's true, because the stock price.
Yeah, that is true.
Tanked, didn't it? Well, it's like tanked. Like if you look at CD Projekt over the last 5-6 years, it actually wasn't a huge dip in the grand scheme of things. But it was. Yeah, if it was my money, I'd probably think it was significant.
Okay, so is that enough of the news from CD Projekt Red?
No, because there's more.
Can we actually talk about this now?
So there's more. So there's also been so Red Candle Games, who worked on Devotion, which was then pulled from all stores because of the whole Chinese Xi Jinping debacle and everything. They came out and said that it was going to be re-released on GOG on the 18th of December, and so they were like, everyone was pretty excited about this because this is a game that a lot of people have wanted to play because it is, by all accounts, very good, and people have been trying to find some way to get to it. But then a little bit later, GOG then responded saying, earlier today it was announced that the game Devotion is coming to GOG. After receiving many messages from gamers, we have decided not to list the game in our store. And there's been no further comment at all from CD Projekt about it. But Red Candle Games have responded, where they said, we are willing to understand and respect GOG's decision. This is a difficult predicament to overcome, but we won't stop striving. And, it's politics, obviously, this whole thing. And
did they not know? Like, what? I don't understand.
Who?
The CD Projekt not...
It's that infamous various messages from our customers. That is
that's absolute nonsense.
That's the thing.
I doubt they got many messages from gamers. And what did these messages say? Please don't upset the Chinese government by putting this game on the store. I don't. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Was it complaints from potential customers or from certain investors? Who knows? Almost certainly, almost certainly the latter. Like, please don't get this store taken down.
I don't know. It just seems weird. Like, did they not know that this was going to ruffle some feathers before initially announcing they were going to, list it on the store or what? I don't know. Don't get it.
Yeah. It's a shame, though.
Okay.
It is
right. A shame. So we briefly spoke about this on the bonus show, but I think it's worth having an update here. Where are we with Cyberpunk? Sean, have you played much more? I
mean, do you want to do... Obviously, I was going to do it in what we've been playing, but I can just talk about it now if you want.
Just talk about it now, I think.
All right, cool. Played quite a bit. I must be 60 hours in, something like that.
Wow. Okay. So I've been hammering it. How are you finding the bugs on PC? Are they frequent?
Honestly, not too bad. But obviously, I'm very aware. I'm talking from a position of privilege. Your listeners will remember I wasn't sure what to get
you got
the game
a PC.
On. Got a PC and also managed to blag a new graphics card like the week before Cyberpunk came out.
Right.
So that sealed the deal. So this is me sitting in my ivory tower playing the least fucked version of the game. In like the day to day, it's basically fine. I did have to the launch version. I think it's improved since the launch version. I did have to employ about 3 separate hacks to actually get the game running efficiently, which was weird. I had to edit one text file, install a community made patch, and then use a hex editor on the game itself because it wasn't using my CPU properly. So not really on that. people are having to do that to get the game running properly. But once I did, it was looking and running great. You know, as I say, in terms of those sort of weirdly jarring elements of it, as I say, they're by design, and so they're not really bugs. I don't know if they're things that are going to get fixed. The main thing I'm having in terms of bugs that's really irritating is that, so, you know, as you go around the world, there are, you know, different locations. There are fixers, who are people who give you like side jobs, basically. So sometimes you'll drive past a building and then they'll come up on your little video phone going, "Oh, there's someone trapped in here and someone's paid for someone to get them out. Do you want to do it?" And what was happening was I was looking in like my mission list in the menus and going, "Oh, that's a side gig. I'll do that." Driving to the location, doing the gig, getting out, and just nothing was happening. Like I wasn't getting any reward. I wasn't getting any, you know, thing saying like, "Oh, well done, you did it." Nothing. And then about 3 hours later, I'd clear a story mission. And then suddenly I'd start getting calls from different fixers who I've done jobs for, all going, "Oh, well done. You did that job 3 hours ago."
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that. Yeah.
And it's fucking annoying because you're doing these things and it's like, well, when am I going to get the rewards? Don't know. What doesn't help is that
Like,
some quests...
standing at the door with your hand out, expecting you.
10p, please.
Yeah.
What doesn't help is that there are quests that don't have any rewards whatsoever. Like I remember, you know, in the early previews, or not early previews, sorry, you know, a couple of weeks before release, previews, like people were saying, "Oh, you know, the quest management is a bit poor. Like it doesn't give you any indication as to the rewards for quests and stuff." And I was a bit like, "Well, what does that matter? Surely it's always just some money, or, you know, maybe a character goes, 'Oh, here's an amazing piece of, you know, kit you can have,' or whatever." So I didn't really see that as a problem. What I didn't realise is that, there are quests that just don't give you anything. Sometimes.
It's annoying.
It's very annoying. But I mean, in terms of bugs, it's pretty much just the fix, like just the mission tracking stuff.
So even now, has that not changed much?
No, that's still a problem.
How many patches have they released? They did like a couple of big ones, I think, end of last year, but anything since that? I know they said there's going to be a big one in Jan, big one end of February.
Yeah, they were not. They were not big ones on console.
No. I think up to now have been like fixes. I know they said they're going to be big ones at the end of each month, but how many are there regular patches? Have there been a lot since?
There's been a few, but nothing major. And I'm sort of, and it's weird because although there are things I would like to be fixed, like I say, a lot of the problems I have with it are designed problems. They're not mistakes. And like ultimately, you know, of course their attention is going to be on the console versions. Like I would rather they worked on, you know, not ripping off PS4 and Xbox One players at this point. So it's difficult. Like I'm sort of happy if that big January patch is mainly just to bring those console players, you know, to a point where they can actually play the fucking thing.
Yeah, I know, but like that's the thing, isn't it? That's what's winding me up. Is that, you know, I bought a new console. I was looking forward to playing this game on a new console, and we still don't know when the Series X or PS5 version's coming. Mm-hmm. And I said this on the bonus show, but I'll say it here. I have stopped playing it. I was about half an hour to an hour in, and there's a scene which is meant to make you go, "Wow, look at that!" You know, like coming out of the vault in Fallout.
It's that bit from like any Bethesda game, isn't it? Coming out of the first cave or the vault or whatever. Yeah,
and when I saw that, and I wasn't thinking, "Wow, look at that." I was thinking, "Fucking." It's frame dropping. Nothing looks quite right. The resolution isn't quite there. Mm-hmm. Looks a bit muddy. And I just thought, I'm robbing myself of all of that by trying to force myself to play it now. So that is kind of just sitting there waiting to be updated. And I'm just praying they get to a point where that game runs properly. Because like even after that second patch, Matt, that you mentioned, it's still, I loaded it up for 5 minutes and it's still dropping frames. And, you know, noticeably. And I'm not a sucker for that. Like, I'm not Digital Foundry. You know, I can see it with my eyes, and I'm thinking this doesn't look right. And what kills you is that when you're inside in a very enclosed space, talking to a character or whatever, it looks incredible. And I'm like, and even in this last gen version, it looks pretty damn good. And then the moment you start walking around and looking around the nightclub, you're like, it just looks shit again. You know what I mean? Like, so clearly
that's such
there's
a shame
lot of work
because
to be done.
the nightclubs are some of the best fucking bits in it. Like just
Yeah,
the
but
way
it
they're
just,
designed and stuff, they're just stunning. But yeah,
It just lags. Like it just drops frames, and it doesn't look particularly good. So it's kind of like, okay, I'll hold off. And I did get the itch like about 2 weeks ago, where I was like, I really need something to just focus on for a bit. And I thought maybe I'll give Cyberpunk a go. And then I just thought, no, I don't want to play this game like that. And from what I've heard, it's not the genre defining game that people were expecting it to be.
no.
Even the PC players that aren't experiencing many bugs. But okay, so my expectations are lower for that. That's probably a good thing. So I'm not going to be massively disappointed. But I do want it to at least run well. And right now, CD Projekt Red have got a lot to do to convince me to boot it back up again. Like, they've got to come out and say, no, this runs well now. Like, the majority of the bugs are gone. This runs well. The next gen versions are coming on this date. And when they do come to next gen, we need to know that they're in a decent shape. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to go through all this again when they launch the console, launch the game on the next gen consoles. So, yeah, I'm kind of dead with it. James, where are you? Did you even start it?
I started it, played it for about 20 minutes, and then I the same as you. I just think I don't want to play this in a sort of a really sort of subpar way. I'd rather wait. And as you said today, though, like I don't know.
You are playing it on an S. I mean.
No, I'm not. I'm playing, I don't want to get
no,
into
you got
that.
the PS5 version.
But no, it's the problem is also is like which one. What are they going to prioritise? Is it going to be like the PS4 and Xbox One version, or are they actually? When's the next gen one going to come? Like, is it going to be like the end of this year or something like that? It's difficult.
I reckon it will be end of this year.
You think so?
Yeah, I've got a feeling it might be end of this year.
Even if it was ready, they can't surely release it before the other one is proper tip top and ready. They can't say, I know the other one is pretty shit still, but here's the next gen version. I mean, they got sort everything and then leave it a bit of time so they don't piss everyone off.
Yeah, it makes more sense.
It's going to be end of the year, I reckon.
It makes more sense to go for the PS4 and Xbox One version, like for them to work on that, because there's just so many more of those people as well. That are going to be upset
that as well. Yeah, exactly.
It's but it's a shame but I'm going to wait. I think until the PS5 or One version comes out. And then
I don't blame you. And yeah, there is a very good game waiting for you at the end of that. But it's just, it's like Dave says, now that you've had your expectations calibrated, you'll probably be all right. The weirdest thing about it is that, inevitably, I think most people have gone in expecting a GTA level of, I don't know the word I'm after, the sort of the weird little interactions and the sort of general sort of life that the city has in like a GTA game. So whereas in Cyberpunk, it's the things that stick out that ultimately don't matter. Like, I understand why these decisions were made to, start cutting things back in certain ways. The disappearing traffic thing, the fact that even when the traffic doesn't disappear, it doesn't have any AI, right? So if you park your car in the middle of the road, everyone will just stop and wait for as long as it takes for you to move your car out of the way. There's nothing about them. They don't start beeping. Although they do beep the horns, but they've no intelligence with which to drive around your car. You can't.
That doesn't bother me really.
Well, yeah, it doesn't. But it's just a bit weird when you notice it. It's just that these little things that pull you out of it. Yeah, like why can't your character can get cyber mods, but you can't get fucking haircut? Again, it doesn't matter. It's just weird. Like, and I definitely said this on the bonus show, so apologies to those who've heard it. I'm going to repeat myself, but it's little things like, certainly like in the opening of the game, you're basically just doing like a series of like main story missions, right? And it's all like all these cool little sequences where they're cutscenes where you're talking to people, but like you'll be in a bar or you'll be sitting having a cigarette with someone or whatever. And there's just all these like cool little interactions, and you just think like, fuck, I could just play this forever, just going to bars or getting noodles or whatever, and that'll be cool as fuck. But once you're outside of those story missions, you go to a bar, you talk to a bartender, you go, oh, do you want a drink? And you go, yeah. And then just the shopping menu comes up, and you're just like, oh, I'll buy a bottle of beer and take it home with me then, shall I? Like, there's none of that, like, sitting at the bar and having a drink in front of you and like chatting to people, choosing when to drink it, stuff like that. it's kind of like, because it kind of sets that stuff up, and then it just turns out that's not really there outside of story missions.
Can I ask you another question about this? Because did you play, like The Witcher 3, did you play that when it first came out? Like when it first came out?
I did, and it wasn't in a brilliant state, was it?
Because that's the thing I've been, like, a lot of people have been saying, like, when that came out, that wasn't great either, and then it was basically by the time that all the expansions came out and everything was much more fixed, that it was the game that everyone remembers it to be, like, as being, like, amazing. Do you think this is going to go the same way? Like, after it's been...
It could do. Like, obviously it's come out of the gates in a worse position than Witcher 3 did for a lot of players. I do think, it could well be that in a year's time we're all like, do you remember when it came out and it was Fox and it's good now, isn't it? Yeah. I don't see why that couldn't happen.
I'd argue that it has to happen.
Oh yeah.
Like, otherwise their reputation has been hammered.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, they need to fix that game. They need to get it right, because otherwise their next game is going to be like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, why are you trying?
Yeah, no, wait.
yeah.
I think absolutely what you said is correct, but there will still be a percentage of people that will buy it anyway. That's the thing.
Yeah,
I feel like
but it'll be way lower.
It will, but there'll still be millions of people that think they'll still buy it. It, like, people have such a short memory. And
I don't think they do. I don't think they do, Matt.
No, millions will still, like, if what they sold 12 million copies, millions will still buy it. It's just that it'll be less than it is now, even with it in its current state.
Yeah, but they don't want
possibly,
it.
but that's not enough for investors, is it? It's always got to be growth. It's always got to, it's always got to be increasing.
They need to fix the game.
I mean, like you said, like, Witcher 3 didn't launch in the best state, but we know
it was playable.
That CD Projekt Red will. We know CD Projekt Red will obviously keep working this, and it will eventually be brilliant and amazing, and then people will just forget, and then they'll release the next game, and it's like we carry on a cycle.
No, The Witcher 3 was a bit framey. It wasn't pulled from PlayStation to stores. Let's not compare that. It didn't have a similar launch to The Witcher 3. They've got to prove to people that they can do this, because, I mean, my prediction is what happened is that from the success of The Witcher 3, CD Projekt Red thought, right, we've got all this money, let's go and do something huge. And they didn't have the firepower, and they didn't have probably the technology. I mean, you look at the PS4 and the Xbox One that they were trying to launch it on, they probably didn't have the hardware there to fulfill their dreams. But at the same time, they didn't do enough cutting back or downscaling the scope of the project to compensate, and they've been left here. It got to the point where the investors weren't going to allow them to delay it any further, and they had to release it in the state it was in, and they bit off more than they can chew with this, I think. Now, that's not to say that they can't go on and correct that, but I think that that's what's happened, and that's, the one positive we can take out of how this game launched is that a lot of developers will be looking at this and saying, we don't want to do that. So I think an earlier look at downscaling or reducing the scope of a project might be considered, or the benefits of delaying further might be considered. We've seen Halo get delayed by a year, another year, and maybe that's more tempting for the investors to make sure that the game comes out well out the gate.
Well, because everyone can now point to what happened with Cyberpunk, can't they? So if the investors start getting nervous, you can just say, look, this is what happens. So, I mean, just to be clear, like, I'm aware I've been slagging it off quite a lot. It is really fucking good. Like, I'm really enjoying it. There's a lot of stuff. I was worried about how the writing was going to be. There's... Like, it wasn't entirely clear if the story was going to be any good, right? I don't think there's anything that's, like, up there with, like the Bloody Baron stuff in Witcher 3. But it to me feels like a good use of the setting. There are some really cool ideas in there. Some, like, genuinely very emotional bits. I love the way that, sort of proper main story mission dialogue plays out. Like I was saying, there's, like, you can be in a conversation with someone, but you can be like looking around at the same time and choosing little actions to do as well as just saying stuff. Again, stuff that doesn't really affect anything, just choosing when to stand up or sit down or when to take a drink or a drag from your cigarette, whatever. But it just feels great compared to, what we used to with Witcher 3 or any Bethesda game or, most RPGs where it's just like, right, you're in a conversation now. Here's a list of things to choose from.
Here
and it's
is
like
their
you're not
head and shoulders.
Yeah, it's like you're sort of pulled out
Knees
of the
and
world,
toes.
whereas these all feel like sort of cool interactive cutscenes. Like that stuff's amazing. The world is beautiful. It's barely interactive, but it is stunning to look at, and it's it is amazing to explore, even if going exploring, the only thing you can really do is like, oh, there is a crime. I'll stop that, I guess, shoot some gang members and then do some work for them later and no one seems to remember, whatever. But the story mission is great. And do you know what? You know how sex in video games is normally fucking rubbish?
Really
Hot
hot.
as
Oh, yeah,
fuck.
rubbish,
Oh, right.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, rubbish.
Yeah, rubbish, yeah.
There's I've had sex once in the game. And in the game.
Cammy, can you...
Matt,
can you just clip that without in the game, please?
Matt, when you do the
Post that
edit,
everywhere.
when you do the edit, Matt, can you just do lengthen the gap there before he says in the game?
Yeah, silence after that.
Yeah.
And then a big fanfare. And it wasn't.
I've had sex once in the game. Sorry.
That's getting done.
Excuse me. So it was it was still quite clumsy and embarrassing, as sex cutscenes in games often are. Certainly wasn't erotic, but it was cool. This is going to sound really bad. It was like a smart use of the tech that's in the game, which will sound really dodgy, but it was
so sorry, Sean.
It was just like,
I'm
do you know what, fair
sorry.
dues, like the writers have thought about that, and that's actually quite good.
I'd never imagined that Sean would say that. Just certainly not erotic.
You're having a laugh, aren't you? He's the sort of guy that makes cum jokes to his kids.
I was going to say,
you know what I mean?
we've established I'm the dirty one,
The filthy
of the lot.
one.
So
Yeah, he's holding on the main.
Sean can be as dirty as men. Right. Is that enough Cyberpunk?
No, so Sean, you're 60 hours in. I mean, do you know how far you're into the story, or have you just been spending time?
I'm still in
having
Act
sex?
2, which is where things really branch out, and I think there's only 3 main acts.
Oh, wow, 60 hours in, you're only in the second act. Okay.
Yeah, there's fucking loads of stuff to do.
So you've been spending a lot more time just doing side missions and enjoying the environment rather than mainlining it.
Yeah, like I'm holding off doing the main story stuff whenever I can because I'm enjoying taking my time with it. I mean, obviously part of that is that I'm hoping that the game gets fixed and improved a bit as I go. So it's I'm sort of rationing it out for that reason as much as
trying to drag it out
else.
until it gets good.
Yeah, but obviously
Until it works.
But the obviously what I'm hoping is, because it's such a massive, beautiful world that they've built, for whatever else is wrong with it, they've done that, they've achieved that. So hopefully there's going to be really substantial DLC down the line as well. So I'm happy to take my time.
Yeah, let's not hold our breath for DLC yet.
No.
Imagine if they announced that next week. DLC available in March. Fucking hell. Right, okay, that's enough. That's enough for her Cyberpunk, I think, for this week.
I think I got to the menu and I turned it off.
Yeah, you made the right choice, I think.
I mean,
I don't know. I guess I will wait now until next gen, even if they say it's fully working. That's it. I think I might as well wait now.
I would. I mean, even with the PC version, it was the first couple of weeks. I didn't have a session on it where I wasn't dipping in and out of the graphics settings all the time, being like, well, hang on a minute, now it's running a bit shit again. Do I need to change this or that? Pain in the arse.
I need to turn bugs off. I need to turn bugs off. That's the one.
Where's the fucking option? But yeah, that is all settled. But I mean, even that took a while on the PC version. So I can totally understand if you're playing it on a console and just thinking I know I am playing a substandard version of this.
Sean,
then of course that's going to kill it.
His trousers around his ankles, going, I can't wank to 20 frames per second.
Yeah, this is bullshit.
It's not erotic.
I mean, it's not erotic, but it's just
it's good enough.
It gets the job done. Right. Speaking of the future,
I was just going to say, right, when you do that bit, you'll know what I mean.
Okay. All right, Sean. Fine. like the first.
I'll just get a video of Dave looking a bit sweaty and being like, "Just did that bit you talked about, mate. Fuck me."
Like the first bloke in a group of friends who lost their virginity explaining to their mates that when you get to that bit. Right, okay.
It sounds gross, I promise it's good.
Cyberpunk 2077.
Nice.
Oh, come on. Fucking hell. Right, that's too much. But anyway, you ruined my little transition there. Speaking of the future, we've made a big decision on this show. The uncertainty of where we are this year has all been ringing around our heads, and where we're going with this show. E3, is it going to happen? And I think it's too much of a risk to pin everything on E3. And one of my favourite things about our E3 shows are the predictions that we make, and then finding out if we were right. So we've all sort of collectively agreed that this year we're not going to do E3 predictions. We might still do them if there is an E3.
Yeah, if E3 happens, for sure. Yeah.
We'll see. But we all decided, let's do 2021 predictions. So here's what we're going to do. We're all going to come with... We're all going to finish this segment with three... Shut up, Matt. With three predictions. They've all got to be approved by the other members of the podcast. And they can be anything gaming related, really, not specifically about Microsoft or Nintendo or whatever. And let's see where we are at the end of the year. Let's see if we knock it out of the park. I'm going to pick the order that we go in. And I'm going to start with James Farley.
Oh, dear. Okay.
What's your first because I haven't got any.
Okay. I've got 6, actually, just in case. Because
6?
Pretty certain.
Can I have some? I really struggled with this.
Yeah, so did I. I mean, most of these are terrible, so we'll see what happens. Okay, my first.
Well, let's just pick your first one.
Okay, my first prediction is that Anthem 2.0 is not going to come out in 2021.
Okay, I'm fully. I'm up for letting him have that. Any objections?
That sounds good.
Yeah, it's a solid one.
That's a solid
one.
one.
And let's face it, if it's not this year, it's not ever, is it?
No.
I think you're right.
I mean, obviously that's outside the scope
I think
of the
if it doesn't come out this year, I think it's still going to come out. But that's a
2022 prediction. We can't.
Yeah. So the prediction is Anthem 2.0 won't come out at all.
No, I said will not come out in 2021.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Yeah, like obviously the wider suggestion there is that if it doesn't happen this year, then it probably isn't going to happen ever. But obviously we're only betting on 21. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it will come out. I think it will come out this year.
Well,
Well, that's the point of this.
Okay,
but yeah,
that's
yes.
yeah. Okay,
stupid.
Matt, what's your first prediction?
My first prediction is that Halo Infinite will be delayed until 2022.
Oh, fuck's sake!
I think that's a good prediction. I think that's a good one. I think we'll let you have that.
I'm going to add an extra bit to that as well.
Side action. Let's go.
To solid it up. Okay, go.
Yeah, and it won't come to Xbox One.
Okay, all right. That's interesting. Well, if it doesn't come out this year, then it won't come to Xbox One. So, okay.
Exactly.
So wait. So the prediction is they're going to make 2 announcements this year. That it's not coming out this year, and that it's not coming out to Xbox One. That's your prediction for 2021?
No, I think they will announce that it won't come out this year. And then next year, they're like, oh, yeah, by the way, it's not coming to Xbox One.
Right, okay, well, that doesn't matter then. Don't worry about that bit. Well, again, we've had two 2021 predictions, and they've included 2022 predictions. So let's not...
I love a little cherry on top, David. That's what I'm saying to you.
Yeah, but we can't... When we listen back to this at the end of the year, Matt, we can't... What are you doing? We can't...
No, I'm saying it won't come out this year, and I think ultimately it won't come out on Xbox One.
Okay, fine. All right. Sean, what's your first prediction?
So I think this year, all we will see of the new Metroid is just like a little teaser trailer, like the Breath of the Wild 2 one. And then everyone will be like, fuck's sake, is that it? And Nintendo will just be completely shocked that everyone was expecting to see a bit more. Okay,
we need to solid this. I'll make it a little bit more solid. You're saying we will see one trailer and it won't show any gameplay. That's what you're saying?
Yeah, I think it'll just be cutscenes.
Oh, that's not a Breath of the Wild 2 thing, though, is it? Did we see a cutscene for that?
Yeah, it was all just like bits of cutscenes, wasn't it? The Breath of the Wild 2 one.
All right.
I mean, we don't
We
know if
will
it's
see-
cutscenes. It sounded like in-game something. All right?
Yeah, it was in engine, but it wasn't
Right.
playable stuff.
So
was
we
it?
will not see no gameplay footage for Metroid this year.
Yeah.
Okay, I think any objections?
No, I think that's solid.
right.
Yeah.
Okay. Right, so my first prediction is GTA 6 announcement.
Oh yeah, that was on my list. Yeah.
Just thinking a trailer, nothing more. Or just, an image on a website. GTA 6 will be announced this year.
Well, I mean, how they normally do it? They don't normally just do a logo, do they? They normally say,
Yeah, they've done that in the past. Yeah, they've Red Dead 2. It was just the logo, wasn't it, with the silhouettes of the people.
yeah, good point.
underneath
yeah,
the title.
But the trailer did that not follow quite soon after, or am I misremembering?
Yeah, it was quite soon after. It was about 2-3 months, maybe.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm thinking definitely GTA this year for sure. That's
Any
pretty
objections to
special.
that? I think that's a good prediction.
Hmm.
Good.
Yeah, give it that.
James, back to you.
Okay, I think that Sony are going to release their Game Pass service for PlayStation, and it will contain the PS4's catalog from PlayStation Now. Like the games that you can download, and that's it, and discounts for first-party games, but that's it.
Hang on.
Say that again. Start from.
Okay.
Yeah, start again.
Sony are going to release their own Game Pass service, like in the similar to Microsoft's
Right.
one, but it will the games it will contain will be the ones that are currently on PlayStation Now that are PS4 games. Because at the moment on PlayStation Now you can play games from PS2, PS3, and PS4. So I reckon that they'll just only have PS4 games, and then the other sweetener will be that they'll offer discounts for first-party games, like new first-party games that are coming out.
Wait, hold on. Hold on. So your prediction is they're going to announce a Game Pass competitor.
Yep.
But it's going to be in no way different to the current PlayStation Now service.
Well, no. Apart from it'll only be PS4 games. That'll be it.
There'll be right. Okay, fine. We'll let him have that quick before he realises what he's done. we'll let him have that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Okay, fine.
But also, there'll be discounts for
When we listen
first-party
to that,
games.
that's
No,
gonna be
it's locked in. It's locked in now.
Yeah, okay, fine. But yeah, only PS4 games. Okay,
Yep.
fine,
Yeah,
sure.
only PS4, same as it is now, but only PS4. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Cool.
Any ideas what it's going to be called?
I mean, there's no way. Go on. Yeah,
Is it
any
called
ideas
PS
of
Now,
This isn't.
James?
This isn't part. This isn't part of your prediction. But what would you call it, James?
Let me think. PlayStation Nexus. There you go.
Yes.
No way. You know
Sign up
what
for
they'll
that.
call it? They'll call it PlayStation Games Plus. I reckon that's what they call it.
Yeah, maybe something like that.
If they do rebrand it.
No, you see,
Games
you're not
Plus.
understanding the logic
Yeah.
of why I've chosen this at all. It's because they're the only games that you can.
No, I'm not.
No,
Correct.
because that's because you don't know how any of these services work. Because you just enjoy slagging them off without knowing what they are. And what it is that the PS4 games are the only ones you can download, like from PlayStation Now. So that's why they'll just go
Right.
for PS4 games.
But they won't go for PS5 games on that service at all.
No, because they'll be selling those like through. I mean, okay. You see, I should have mentioned
Okay.
like indie games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I
you
missed.
should have, shouldn't you?
All right,
you
yeah,
should have.
probably should have.
I missed
That's
that.
a
Now,
shame.
James.
Look, we've already said locked in.
On to
Yeah,
the
you
next
messed up.
round.
Yeah, okay, Matt, your next prediction.
No, I want to hear that. I know it's locked in. I want to hear, so you're saying a Game Pass like service, but it's just PS4 games, and
That's what
there's
you
a
said,
discount
yeah.
like there is currently with PS Now.
Yep, that's what he said.
Yeah, but
that's
I've
very
weird. They're not
considered. I've
combining
not considered stuff
PlayStation
out.
Plus.
I've not considered stuff outside of first party.
They're also dropping
But, you know.
PS3 and PS2 games, Matt. Don't forget that.
they're
They're
dropping
dropping
that,
things from
But
that
it's the
service.
same discount, but no PlayStation Plus isn't combined.
We'll
It's
see.
just literally
Best
PlayStation.
prediction
We'll see.
ever.
Go on.
It's the,
Yeah,
yes,
just
we will
got
see.
PlayStation 4 Plus. Just call it PS4 Pass. I don't know.
PS4 Plus, yeah.
PS4 Pass.
What an incredible prediction that is. I predict that Microsoft are not going to sell any more consoles at all. Right, okay, go on.
PS4
Go on,
Pass.
Matt.
That's the
Next
one.
You'll see. I like the fact that his argument against these valid points is, you'll see. Okay, right, we'll see. Go on, Matt.
Okay. I think there'll be a brand new Naughty Dog franchise revealed in 2021.
I like that prediction. I like it a lot.
I'm just
think
thinking.
that's a good prediction.
I guess I could have said maybe Uncharted, and there's an Uncharted movie coming out, so maybe there's like, okay, that's the one. But I kind of feel like they've done Uncharted, Last of Us, Uncharted, Last of Us. It's probably the right time for a new one.
I think you're right.
I think you're right as well.
I think you're right. I think it's a really good prediction.
Thank you.
Sean?
Yeah.
Agreed?
No, what's your next one?
Right. Sorry, I thought you were...
No, I don't mean to say it, it's fine.
We know.
I think we're going to see... there's going to be a reveal of the new game from Fumito Ueda's studio, Team Eco guy, but now
Yeah, I was going to say, like, that was
a good one.
teased today. So.
It was.
Oh, that's a shame. That's out then, right? If
What?
he's teased that, hold on, no. If it's already been teased, Sean, you can't have that as a prediction.
It's only teased. It's only just like a thing in a Christmas card.
There's only a picture of a game we haven't seen before.
No. You
Might
can't
not
have
be
that.
this year. Do you remember how long it was between all the Last Guardian stuff?
Yeah, I know, but
That
you
picture
can't.
could be all we
They've
see for the next
literally
3 years.
teased a new game today.
Absolutely not. No, you
Fuck's
can't
sake.
have that. I'm not having that. It's like GTA 6 being teased today and just going, yeah, no,
It's
actually.
only a logo.
Oh yeah,
It's only a
because
logo
there's no guarantee there's going to be a GTA 6, is there? Fucking hell. Right, okay. Do you know what? Right, this is probably too flimsy, but here goes. So I think E3 is going to be back in some form, probably just an online only thing. But I think they're going to absolutely smash it, and I think we're all going to turn around and go, do you know what? I miss it, and I'm glad it's back. And
It's too loose, but if you can name officially the major companies that are going to attend or be part of
the big three.
All big three are going to be involved with whatever the next E3 is.
I'm throwing all my chips in, Dave.
I think you're in for that. I think we can lock you in for that. That's a good one. Any objections?
So, so a bit more detail. So, just give me a bit more detail, Sean.
Well, I think it's going to be an online event. Obviously, it's just going to be streams and stuff. But I think there's going to be an official like E3 calendar of events, and they're all going to be officially like actually affiliated with E3. And I think the budget is going to be amazing. It's not, like obviously last year was cool because loads of other people sort of stepped up and did stuff. I'm sure Keeley's going to still do his. But I think they're really going to push the boat out just because E3's got to stay relevant this year, and it probably can't be a physical real life event. So
No.
I think they've really got to figure something out. So
you're saying there'll be like a Sony conference
Yeah.
in E3 week that's loosely associated with E3?
It's
in inverted
officially
commas?
associated with E3, yes.
Okay, right. I mean, I think that's. I mean, there will be a show of sorts for sure. Are you saying like one big press conference with one big stream with all of them, rather than everyone doing their own things? Because
they'll still be separate because I don't think the individual companies would agree to that, right? I think they'll still be separate streams, but I think it'll all be through like the E3 channel.
So okay,
and it'll all be officially
you're saying
badged.
so everyone's still going to do their own separate shows.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. As I have done this year, and it seems very likely they'll do again. But they will be under an E3 banner of sorts.
Yes. Yeah.
Don't know if
they've got to be officially. No, they've got to be officially like this is our E3 show.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what makes the difference. They can't just like wrap like what EA Play does. That's not part of
it
E3.
absolutely won't count if Nintendo just like, oh, we happen to be doing a direct, which is, face it, that's what they're going to fucking do. But that wouldn't count. Yeah, it would have to be.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so the prediction is that actually they all do their shows as they have done this year, but they actually explicitly say this is our E3 show.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Cool. All right. Maiko. Mario Odyssey 2 announced.
Solid.
Yeah.
And it will be called Mario Odyssey 2.
Mm-hmm.
Or Super Mario Odyssey 2.
So not Super Mario Odyssey 2. Okay, that's locking in. It's locking in Mario Odyssey 2.
No, I said that before you said lock in.
No, you said Mario Odyssey 2 locked in. That's locked in.
No, you said locked in after I said all
locked in
Super
now.
Mario Odyssey 2.
Well, actually, I locked in the middle of it. So actually, locked in is Mario Odyssey 2.
I don't think it'll be out this year, but I think Super Mario Odyssey 2 will be announced by Nintendo. Good?
Okay, so the game's announced but not released.
Not really. Well, I mean, I don't know, but it will be announced this year.
Okay. And
Okay.
it's just called Mario Odyssey 2.
Shut up. James, last prediction.
I'm scared about doing this one now. I've got two.
Is everyone giving a thumbs up for that one, by the way? Need to...
Yeah, because it's.
Yeah.
I don't think.
think yes.
I mean, you shouted.
I don't think it's
You
going to happen.
shouted solid prediction. Yeah, okay.
It doesn't mean anything until you get a thumbs up.
Well, I've got those thumbs up with. Don't you worry
It's not
about that.
you, it's about me.
Well, yeah. Is it about you? Is it, Matt?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Interesting viewpoint. James, what's
One
your
the
final
listeners agree
prediction?
with.
One of them does, yeah. Go
Yeah, no, at least two or three.
on. Go on, James.
Okay, I think Breath of the Wild 2 is going to slip to 2022.
Let me just confirm. James, just cover your ears a bit. I don't know, man. I think that's pretty obvious. What do you guys think?
I mean, did they actually what did they actually confirm?
Did they announce it
nothing
this year?
I don't think. Yeah, I don't
They
think
announced it for
confirmed
last
anything
year.
in terms of release
I don't
date.
think we could take that then.
Oh, he can hear it. He can hear us. He can hear us.
Oh fuck.
I say cover your ears.
James. Okay.
I'm tempted to say no, but it depends on what you guys think.
Well, all right. Spoilers. I was going to bet that it's out for Christmas this year.
We can't have predictions.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, no, but yeah. So,
I'm just
so
saying-
Sean
I'm
thinks
just saying,
this
like,
year.
that's-
James now
that's-
thinks next year. So
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, but you're just betting against each other then, aren't you? It's not.
Yeah.
No,
I'm just
really,
making the
that's-
point that like I was confident it was going to be. So I think it's substantial to bet that it's going to slip.
Okay.
I think
all right,
that's-
fine.
I
Matt, what
think
do you
just let
think?
him have that. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll let him have it. You got it, James. Well done.
Great.
Congratulations, James. I hope you're happy with
Matt,
that.
what's your
Enjoy the
final
money.
prediction?
Microsoft buys Konami.
Konami, famous game developer and publisher Konami.
With the
Konami.
Yeah, let's
Konami
put
code.
locked in. You said Konami.
No, it's Konami. It's Konami.
Okay. Yeah, I don't see any reason why we can't let him have that.
We could have that because it's incredible.
I don't think it's.
insane.
I mean,
That's
they're
never
going to
gonna
buy
happen.
someone. I could have said Sega. They're going to buy someone. I think Konami, whatever.
Right, okay. You can have that.
I mean, why would they at
Sean?
this point? What's Konami even
Yeah,
got?
I
at this
don't
point?
know. I don't know. They got Pez. That's it.
Metal Gear Solid.
I mean,
Silent
Technically, they've
Hill,
got
all
Mel
that
Gear
stuff.
Solid, but they're just.
Yeah, I suppose that.
Yeah, they got
but
big
it's
franchises.
not. People will people still be excited for Metal Gear Solid?
Not if Kojima's not
Yeah,
involved.
if there's a new one, for sure.
Yeah, Kojima's not involved though, Matt.
They didn't care about that
Yeah, but they can
multiplayer
say
one that he
they
brought
could
out.
say Kojima Pro are making it.
Okay, all right, fine. Go on. Sean, is it?
That was me. Sorry,
Yeah,
yeah,
Sean.
that's my name. Yeah, hi.
Cheers.
Fuck it, it's been a few years. I think this year we're going to see the reveal of a new Armored Core game.
Okay, fine.
happen,
We'll
just-
just let him have
for
it.
some
Fuck it,
reason,
just let him
A
have
stop
it. I
clock
mean,
is once.
I thought you were going to
It
say
is right,
we're going to see the
twice a day.
reveal of the first truly erotic video game. No?
Oh, there's been loads of those.
Yeah.
You should see. There's a cutscene in Cyberpunk 2077. It's really good.
I'm really glad none of you have said any of mine because my backup one is really horrible. So
gosh.
I'm going to put. There's a major issue with the DualSense that Sony will have to address.
And there already is, isn't there? Aren't they
any more
replacing
detail?
controllers left, right, and centre?
Not on a wild scale. They haven't put
Okay.
a statement out there saying that there's a major problem. And,
Okay.
like in the same way that Microsoft have had to do with their consoles in the past, I think there will have to be some sort of major announcement to say there's a known issue and the warranty is extended or something.
What, in terms of like drift and stuff?
I don't think it'd be drift. I think it'd be down to triggers.
Yeah.
Broken triggers.
But I'm not
Possible.
going that specific with my prediction.
Well, I
I'm
think you
saying
should go
that-
specific.
I don't know. I don't think I need to.
Well,
I
so
think,
your prediction is there will be a major problem with a DualSense.
that Sony will have to officially address.
Officially address. What do
Yep.
you mean by officially address?
There will have to be a press release about what they're going to do about this issue, acknowledging the issue and
and offering
having
like
to do something.
offering, like,
online or
exchanges,
PDF? Downloadable PDF.
What would that PDF be titled?
Yeah.
Um,
How big is
no,
the
and
PDF?
that's
Will they
That's my
compensate
prediction.
you with a free subscription to PS4 Nexus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
PS4 pass.
Yeah. Please note, no PS5 games. You will not be able to play any of the games.
Well, yeah, that's it.
with any of
Your
the features
PS5
on your...
triggers fucked, are they? Well, here's a load of games where it doesn't really matter. So,
No, that's my prediction.
Can I give you all the ones that I rejected?
I'm
Yes,
not going to
please.
give you the one that I rejected. Go on, what's yours?
I've got a couple
These
of
don't
others.
count,
No, these don't
listeners.
count. So I had Microsoft are going to release more first-party games this year than Sony and Sony and Nintendo combined. I thought that's
Fucking hell.
that's good, man. Why didn't you
Yeah,
go with
That
that?
is a good one. You
It's a
should have
shame.
gone with that.
Yeah, I should have done
yeah,
something
like
I
like
mean,
to
that
play that
beats
one.
Sony
I know,
making
just shut up,
PlayStation now
alright.
shitter and rebranding it.
Well, yeah, no, but it's the sort of the reason I went for that as well is it's the kind of stupid thing Sony would do. Seriously, it's just
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't, because you realised how stupid you'd been.
I know, but then it's still the sort of stupid thing they would
done on
do.
purpose.
It was still the stupid thing they would do. The other
Okay.
one I had is
No.
that I think we're going to see the first monthly increase in cost for Game Pass. I think that's going to happen this year. They'll start ratcheting the price on
Okay.
that.
Oh, do you reckon?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the other
That's
one,
interesting, yeah.
the other one I had was, despite having no games, the PS5 will outsell the Xbox by 2-1 by the end of the year.
Well,
2-1.
that's obvious.
I don't know if it is obvious.
It's not,
It
because
is
2-1 is
obvious.
massive. It's like that's like a
2-1's massive, Matt.
yeah.
No, it's definitely going to do that. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
I don't know, including
doing
the
that
X
already,
and
isn't it?
S.
Yeah, well, no,
Mind, let's not get into that again.
yeah.
It is doing that already, isn't it? I'm sure the sales we've seen already have already said they're doing.
Well, we don't
We
know.
haven't seen the
We
sales.
don't know,
I mean,
'cause,
there's
yeah.
no way of officially tracking that anyway, because
Nah.
they don't release their figures, do
Bollocks
they?
prediction by idiots. But I think that is going to happen for sure.
Did anyone else have any ones that they didn't manage to get out?
No.
No? Okay, cool.
I was going to say E3 will be happening, but online only, obviously. And
No,
that's
yeah.
it.
Okay, fine. Right, should
No,
we get
no,
on to what
no,
you've been...
Dave, what was that one you said you weren't going to say? Why won't you say it?
Because it's just really sad and not like it's not very nice.
Say it anyway.
I'll say it and then we'll get straight on to what you've been playing.
Well, say it and then we'll discuss.
Shigeru Miyamoto dies. Right, Matt,
Oh,
let's
Dave.
get on to... I told you.
I can't believe you
I
said
didn't
that.
want to say it. Matt,
didn't have
what
to.
have you been
That's
I
not your
can't believe you
playing?
said that.
What have you been playing, Matt?
Nothing actually.
Excellent.
I mean, I had a really busy Christmas. Not playing games. Sadly, I played a little bit of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. That was cheap on Xbox, or cheaper. And also I bought one of those Razer Kishi controllers because I thought, well,
and not using it.
Yeah, I basically use it every single day, and I take
Is it
it with
good?
me to work.
So you've been playing loads then?
Well, not loads. But it's things like Descenders.
He's had a great
and
time in the menu system through most of the time.
bloody great time. Yeah.
He's been running a
No,
NES
'cause it's
emulator on his
mostly
phone.
been sort of playing titles for sort of like Microsoft Awards and stuff. So I haven't played any
No
proper games.
wonder he fucking loves UIs so much. It's the only thing he sees.
I bloody love a menu. But I'm really impressed with it. In fact, so the Razer Kishi, you just plug the phone in, and I've got my PS5 and Xbox Series X both wired, but the PS5 remote play compared to Xbox is way worse. I mean, I do
Really?
definitely need to fix my sort of router and stuff at home, but comparing the two, I can play my Xbox at work easy, connects totally fine. There's obviously a little bit of lag, but that's it. But PS5 just can't really play at work for some reason. Not that's really a comment on PlayStation 5, but it's a bit weird how Xbox. I thought that'd be like less solid than the PS5 remote play that's been working for ages. But I'm really impressed with the Razer Kishi. The only thing that's not great about it is like the shoulder buttons are fine, but the triggers feel really plasticky, and you can tell there's a spring in there. But everything else, it's got clickable thumbsticks. It's got like lightning pass through. There's like a couple of versions. There's an Android version, universal version. I've got the iPhone version. So you plug lightning cable in, it charges the phone, and keeps all working. And I'm really pressing it, and I can be downstairs playing my Xbox upstairs on the pad, and I'm actually surprised how much I'm using it. Really played a little bit of Assassin's Creed on it, but that's the kind of game you want to see all the details. So yeah, probably not great for that.
Matt, can I just ask?
But the only game I played.
How comfortable is it, like, to hold? Because I'm looking at the pictures here, and it looks horrific. Because it looks like absolutely enormous, and I'm just imagining because I
haven't played it for hours and hours and hours on once.
You've
but no,
got
it doesn't feel bad at all. I mean, it just feels like a Xbox pad's kind of split in two.
Because you've got like,
what were you going to say then, James?
No, I was going to say because Matt, you've got like the biggest phone possible, like, and so I'm just thinking it must be quite.
You're going to say something else.
What do you think?
I thought you were going to say, Matt, you've got very small hands.
Well, that was well.
Yeah, that was...
Small hands, small gloves. No, I mean it doesn't feel uncomfortable, but I haven't played for many hours on at the same time, so maybe there'll be a case there. But no, I mean I'm really impressed actually with the quality of the pad. I haven't really, like the idea of me clipping my phone to my pad. I'd never really gotten bored of that. And yes, I could obviously just connect my phone to a Bluetooth pad. But yeah, this feels great. I mean, I'm kind of constantly impressed because I guess I've got like good iPhone, so it's like good screen, sounds good, and like I can play a portable Xbox with this pad using Bluetooth headphones, and I'm really impressed. It'd be interesting. Obviously, I think Microsoft announced over Christmas, or maybe it's just something that we've heard over recent weeks. But obviously, xCloud is coming this year to Safari, to mobile browsers. I think actually the news over Christmas was that Stadia confirmed over Christmas that it then suddenly it worked on Safari, so you can play Stadia now on Safari. The reason I bought it originally, the Razer Kishi, was because I was going to jump on that Cyberpunk offer, but when I went to do it, they said they'd sold out and the offer was not on. The offer being that if you bought Cyberpunk on Stadia for like 50 quid, although myself and many other people probably also had a £10 voucher to make it 40 quid. If you bought that, they got you like the Founders Pack or whatever it was for free. So basically meant for 40 quid, a lot of people were getting Cyberpunk on Stadia plus a Chromecast Ultra and the Stadia pad. But like I said, by the time I got to do that offer, it was sold out. And I was kind of hoping there'll be another similar one over Christmas, but never kind of transpired. One thing we didn't really cover in the Cyberpunk conversation is that actually it seems like right now the best version to play is the Stadia version.
Yeah. If you haven't got a decent
which is
PC, it's absolutely,
so I bet Stadia's done really well over Christmas. But we'll still know
relatively speaking.
Yeah, so got a Razer Kishi, really impressed. I use it every day. I take it with me to work, and if I want to do a little something at lunchtime, I can play it. That's cool. But I've barely played any games because over Christmas I was busy with other things, mostly watching movies and relaxing and doing other stuff. But like I said, I did buy Valhalla, and I'm only like 3 hours in. So
that intro is really good to that game.
Yeah,
the story is fantastic.
I played a little tiny bit of Black Flag. I've never really bothered, but even though I'm only 3 hours into this is still the most I've ever bothered to play an Assassin's Creed game. And I got off that initial sort of area, and I took like the boat to other areas, but then I came across other places you can raid and other islands on the way, and I've basically been going along doing them rather than carrying on with the story. I mean, it looks absolutely stunning in 4K. It looks incredible. The detail and the amount of stuff you can sort of see and do is amazing. I'm obviously barely into the game because I know it's like a 60 78 hour game. I know it's absolutely massive, and I haven't really had a lot of time to play games, so sadly, so I haven't really got my teeth into it. But even from the early like hours of playing it, it's impressive enough, to see all the kinds of people you can talk, townsfolk you can talk and take missions from in the various like areas. Just like the detail and the graphical sort of style of the game, I'm really impressed. I mean, I don't know if you guys have played much more over Christmas.
Yeah, I'm like 9 to 10 hours in, I think.
Okay, cool.
There's still some. I mean, as James and I have said in the past, like the combat system is pretty crap. At first I thought it was serviceable. The deeper you get in, the more you realise that actually it's just not very good. But I've still enjoyed
because
like
you can
going
parry
about
attacks and stuff, can't you? So I'm like, okay, this is pretty. It's might be cool, but it's never really satisfying.
Nope, it's never satisfying. No, and I hear it's way better if you try and stealth your way through stuff, and I've been doing a bit of that, but there's still some weird stuff in there. It's from what I've played, it's enjoyable, but I haven't gone back to it in a while, and I'm worried that maybe that's me done with it. But then it's still sitting there going, maybe I do jump in for a little bit. I don't know, but I'll come on to why I haven't in a bit. But yeah, I mean, but certainly play some more of it. I mean, you're not even off the first area yet, are you?
Well, I'm on the boat onto the second area, but I kind of stopped some other places on the way.
Yeah, you need to get into that second area, for that's where it starts like getting pretty good.
Yeah, but I just I wanted to play as the games over Christmas, just didn't get around to it sadly. But I've got to play the stuff now, so I'll be playing it for sure.
Sean, before we move on to you,
Hello.
You're going to talk about what game are you going to talk about first?
I was Mario Kart Live Home Circuit. Or do you want to do Horace? Is that what you're getting at?
No.
Okay.
It's just entered my head, right? So for Christmas, Harry, obviously because he played Animal Crossing all last year, his favourite fish to catch in Animal Crossing was neon tetras, right? Mm-hmm. So we went through the whole process of learning how to keep them, how to deal with them, whatever. We bought 4 as a tester to make sure the environment was okay for fish. Right, one died the next day. The other one died about a week later, which is, by all accounts, pretty normal. So we've still got 2 surviving fish. It's all cool. This week is the first week that we had to clean the tank out. So we did all of that, and they've been sitting in a little bowl on the side in the kitchen while after I cleaned it all out and put the conditioner in and all that sort of stuff, the biological booster and all that sort of stuff in. And we've been waiting for the heater to get to the correct temperature before we could put them on. I was supposed to put them back in just before we started recording, and I've forgotten, and I've just realised they're still sitting on the bowl in the kitchen. So do
you want me to talk about something? Do you want to talk about something you don't care about?
No, because you could talk for a little bit. It won't take me long to check to see if my son's 2 remaining pets are still alive from Christmas Day. So you start. I can still hear you. I've got my Bluetooth headphones on, and I can come back and continue once I'm done. I'll give you an update once I'm back. I know. Cool. I'm scared. I'm very, very worried.
If you hear a scream, you know what's happened.
I'm going to mute my mic. Okay, go on.
Yeah, I can't imagine. I mean, we don't have a pet. We had 2 cats, so about 6 hours before I was taken back.
There's something wrong with them?
No,
Broken.
just it was too manic at home. We'd love a dog, but I'm like, we're out all day, pre-COVID, so I don't really want to do that. But I don't really want a rabbit.
Dogs are definitely harder work than cats as well.
We want to get a pet for her. Yeah. I think it'd be good for mental health and looking after him. We would like something at home as well, but we're just struggling to find out what the right one to be was.
Yeah. Do so the thing with the cat, I'd love to have seen what was going on with that, because you just love to see what it was like. What was happening, because it sounds fascinating.
Right. Okay. I'll tell you the cat story while Dave's not here. Right. So yeah, Elodie for months said, okay, want a pet, want a cat. And we went to this Cats Protection. It's like a charity. Mm-hmm. There's loads of them around the country, but went to one in Leeds. And we're like, okay, went there probably 3 or 4 times to see, okay, are there any cats in that suitable? And we just want one. Oh no, this is a pair. Or these are come in, or these have been taken. Blah blah blah. Or they didn't warm to us when we went into their little cell, basically. And then Jill was always like, look, I'm not getting involved because her parents never let her get a pet, even though she wanted one. Mm. And she was worried about...
Surely that's more reason to live vicariously through Elodie, right?
Exactly, yeah. So she was like, I'm not getting involved because I don't want to, stop her getting a pet because Jill might be anxious about it, like her parents did to her. Mm. So... one day, me and Ed like, you know what, fuck this. I mean, I didn't say fuck this in front of Elodie, but like, you know what, let's make a decision. Let's get you that cat. Me personally, I love a pet at home. It'd be lovely. Mm. So we went there, and they had these 2 gorgeous kittens. They didn't want to be split apart. And we're like, you know what, let's have 2. Like we always said we wouldn't get kittens, but these were like at 12 months. So they were kind of borderline of. We said, okay, we'll get one over 12 months old, but it's like 2 of them. We're like, you know what? It's a big move, but let's do it. They're gorgeous. They really warm to us. I thought, this is going to be amazing. We're going to get a pet in the house. I'm really excited about this. We're at this point, so you say yes to Cats Protection, and then say, okay, basically come back in a few days, to give you kind of a cooling off period. You go away, you buy all the stuff. We bought all this stuff, basically. Went back to collect it. Collect them a couple of days later or a few days later, and then I brought them both home. These two gorgeous kittens, and they basically ran around the house like a million miles an hour. Just being kittens, basically. Mm-hmm. I wasn't too bothered about that. I was like, well, this is what kittens do, They're acclimatized into the environment. They're trying to work out what the deal is. They were hiding under the couch a lot, and then when they weren't doing that, they were running around, scratching everything. I was like, whatever, that's cool. And that evening, I must have been. I think I was streaming or podcasting. I must have been streaming, I guess. Mm-hmm. And basically, Jill came into the room. Basically, almost in tears, when I was streaming. I had to cut the stream
short.
That's right,
I remember.
Straight away.
Yeah.
Because the cats were basically going insane. Mm-hmm. And I think Elodie said she was a bit scared at that point. I was like, oh my God. Anyway, so that was one evening, and then they said, let's try and take them back. So I had the harrowing thing of having to I love these little two little dudes, but I had to get that at that point. I think Elle went to school and Jill went to work, and it's just me in the house with these two gorgeous kittens, and I had to fucking try and get them into the cat cage holder thing.
Cage, yeah.
Not the basket, but the thing you transport them in. I had to do that, and it's really upsetting. Genuinely, I'm not even joking. I was like,
man,
that's horrible.
That is horrific. I wish I hadn't asked this now.
In their faces.
This is bumming me out.
It's good to get out. Actually, it's good to get out of my system. But I was like, the looks in their faces, and I didn't want to let them go. I didn't want to anyway. So that was harrowing for me because they weren't there, and I had to be the one that had these. Pick up his gorgeous kittens and put them in a box and say, I'm so sorry, dude, I've got to take it back. And I'm sure they've got lovely homes now with owners who really care about them. The moral of the story is...
really care about them.
The moral of the story is, Elle was like, I like another pet. I was like, I'm not sure if I got the emotional strength to do that again.
I must admit, they're only tiny little fish.
Are they dead or not, David?
My heart is pounding right now because... I walked over and the fish were just not moving in the bowl. But I think they were just a bit sad being in a little bowl rather than their proper home. Because, they're in there now. They're in the big fish bowl. I've put some food in there for them to,
in the fish
have a little
bowl
nibble,
or
a little
tank?
trip.
Is it a tank or a bowl?
Well, it's like a tropical fish bowl. It's like a big bowl thing. It's quite big. And there's only two of them in there. So, but then they went and hid underneath the rock. So maybe I scared them a little bit. I don't know. But I will check them before the end of the podcast.
Fact is they're moving.
So he called one Neon, he called one Tetra, he called one Kirby and one Mario. And I think it's Kirby and Neon left. How he knows the difference between them, I don't know, because they're identical. But so I'll check on them again.
So
I'm nervous, man, because I love the little guys now.
Christmas Day, right?
Yeah, we think the others ate it.
Okay.
Wow.
Because half of it was missing. We were told, yeah, but not regularly with Neon Tetras. We were told by the garden centre expert, the guy that works in the fish section, the garden centre. He said, "Don't feed them today. Don't feed them today. Feed them tomorrow." And it says once a day. He said once a day, and then I looked on the fish food we bought, and it was like feed them twice a day. And I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, what do I do? So we didn't feed them on that first day. And then we bought them Christmas Eve. So Christmas morning, he woke up to a dead fish with half the carcass missing. So we think he might have been eaten a bit.
So that was the first one. The second one, he said died a week in.
Yeah, that was really weird.
So
no idea.
How was he with that?
Fine. He was totally fine with it. Yeah, he was totally cool with it.
It was just
fine,
you that was broken up about it.
I don't know how it would be. I was genuinely gutted because I've obviously Harry's interest in the fish that went Christmas Day when he got Bowser's Lego castle thing. Right? He didn't give a fuck about the other present now. But I've grown to wake up and enjoy seeing them in the morning and feeding them and looking after them and stuff. And I've really done my research. Taking them for walks. I've really done my research for these little guys, about making sure the tank's clean and healthy and all that sort of stuff. And if they die, I'm going to be gutted. So we'll find out. And the problem was, we would get that this is very boring for our listeners, I apologise, but these fish are community fish, which means that you're supposed to buy them in groups of 7 to 14, right? There's supposed to be quite a few of them together. But the problem is that you need to make sure the environment's correct. So that's why you get like a low amount. So we were going to get a load more this week. That's not happening anymore. So,
just buy some Lego.
I think that might be it. I think if these two don't survive the night, then I'm going to be so gutted. All right, okay. What have you been playing, Sean?
I would be scared about getting a pet because at the moment, Elodie is really. I'm not sure it's a phase, but she's constantly worried about death. I'm not sure if she's learned or really understanding her own mortality or whatever. But she's constantly worrying about us dying, her dying, and her skin coming off in the grave. It's really upsetting. Every day she's basically almost crying about this, and also literally crying about this. I'm hoping did your kids go for that phase, James?
Yes, they did. Yeah. Yeah, we talked about that a lot, actually, particularly Rachel.
Imagine James is just like, no.
Yeah, she's really worried about it, and it's like, okay, so not sure bringing a pet in, and then the idea of it, it's say a fish, and then in the morning that being dead in the water. No way, baby, it can do that.
They do say, like, obviously it's not reason number one to get a pet, but it is a good way for kids to learn about mortality.
Yeah,
and to sort of learn how to process it.
And one for me, one for her, but it's a big.
We had that with because we had a cat that was still alive. Like, wait, sorry, I'll forget it.
No, go on. I want to hear James.
No, we had a cat that was obviously alive. Like when Asher was born, and like was up until he was about 4 or 5 years old, and then the cat died, and the grief, I was really shocked, like, by how upset he was when the cat died. Like, really, really upset. Like, it was like crying, like really, really like crying, like about it. I didn't think he was that bothered, but yeah, he was. It really, really upset him. It was very sad.
You can't be that surprised. You get like that over Balloon.
Well, yeah, but that's different. It's,
Oh, sorry, bonus show people wouldn't have heard that. Okay, fine. Let's move on, shall we? Let's move on. This podcast is taking a really dark turn. Sean, let's talk about how fun is Mario Kart Live.
It's pretty good. So this was Isaac's Christmas present. Because was
it Isaac's? Sean?
I was about to say this is bollocks, right? This is total bollocks.
Isaac's Christmas. I'm doing the
Isaac's Christmas present.
Isaac's
Christmas present. I mean, he just happened to see some videos about it on YouTube and was going nuts over it. So I was like, do you know what? He's made this decision by himself.
No, he hasn't.
Daddy, I want a neon tetra. No, you're getting a fucking.
I don't want that.
Obviously, I also thought it would be very fun.
Daddy, I want an age-appropriate toy.
No, it's fun. Well, because do you know what really swung it was finding out that it does have like the assist mode from actual Mario Kart, so we can pretty much just hold the accelerator and it just goes around the track. So it is really good fun. It's obviously in no way like an actual Mario Kart game, right? The one thing that really surprised me in setting it up and stuff is that you actually don't need a massive amount of room. Because the car's so small and because it's got like quite a wide angle camera on it, it appears to be going, a decent speed in the game, but in real life it's just like crawling about pretty much. So even like a not particularly massive room like seems like a decent size in the game. But yeah, I mean, there's not really a lot to say outside of, what you'll have seen in trailers and stuff.
So it comes in one car, obviously.
Yes.
And then how many of those track,
there's the gates, isn't it? Yeah, so there's 4 of those. The only thing that's really weird is that you have to use all 4 of them in a track, and I don't understand why, because it would be, as I say, it doesn't take a massive amount of room, but it would be actually, way more liberating for people with smaller rooms if you only had to use like 1 or 2. And I don't understand why there's a requirement to use all 4, but that's just how it works, I guess.
So, but does the track have to be straight in between them things? Though, how do you put
no, not at all. No, so what you do is you put all the gates down, all 4 of them. You do have to weigh them down because obviously they're just cardboard, and if the cart bumps into them, then it just knocks them out of place, and it kind of deals with it. But obviously, if it starts to get too messed up, then the track just goes nuts. So yeah, you have to weigh them down outside, and then you literally you drive round to wherever gate number 1 is, which is your starting point, and then you just do a lap, right? And then it just paints the course as you go. And yeah, once it's confirmed you've passed through all four gates and back to the start again, it goes right and then saves it, and then that's your course. And what I didn't realise is that so you can do like a Grand Prix where obviously you're just doing the same course, a number of times, which is weird, but it themes it differently. So it puts like filters on on the camera footage, and like all the gates are sort of rendered with like different effects, and there's like different hazards and stuff. It's proper good fun. Like we were having a really good time, just taking it in turns, like just like one of us driving, and then the other one just generally. Like usually, like if Isaac was driving, I was usually sort of fixing the course and like stuff that he'd bashed into or whatever. But then, like, when I was playing, he was just actively trying to disrupt me. And it's properly good fun. Like, just basically playing Mario Kart on the telly, but with your 3-year-old child as a giant, just sort of, like, running in front of the cart and shouting at it and stuff and trying to pick it up. And it was just, really good fun.
It sounds like he's getting a lot out of his Christmas present.
Yeah,
it
certainly is. He was doing racing as well, and he was loving it.
It's got free roam mode, isn't it?
Yeah, you can just drive around, but obviously... Yeah, not a huge amount of point because, as I say, because the kart is quite slow, so it's not like you. If that was all you wanted to do with it, you'd be better off just buying any other radio control car.
AR stuff with in that free roam mode though.
Yeah, I mean it renders like the course if you've set one up and if it sees the gates.
No, I mean in the free roam mode without the gates, doesn't it just add little flourishes in?
No,
or is
don't
it literally
think
just
so. Not that I'm aware of, no. I think you can pick up coins. I think it just dots coins around. You can grab them, and then as you grab them, it unlocks like different customizations and stuff. But yeah, it's like it is in no way like a proper Mario Kart game.
No,
but
I mean if you went in expecting that, then that would be a bit silly, really, wouldn't it?
Do you see them doing anything to add to it?
What, sorry?
Do you see them doing anything to add to it in terms of
I can't imagine
could they add
it will.
to it, really?
No, I don't think so. It's just quite a fun toy, isn't it? I don't really see what else they could do with it. Yeah, I mean, my only complaint is that so if you've got the Switch docked and you're playing it on the telly, the range of the because it obviously communicates to the cart via Wi-Fi. The range is shocking. Like it wouldn't go around like there were just spots in my living room. It just wouldn't see it anymore, and like the feed would start going all fucked. But in handheld, it seemed to be fine.
Do you think that would improve if you wired the dock?
No, it wouldn't make any difference because it communicates with the cart via Wi-Fi,
directly.
and it talks straight to the Switch. So it actually, so obviously you don't have an internet connection or anything while you're racing.
Sean, does the share button work while you're playing it?
No, annoyingly.
That's really dumb.
Yeah, it's so annoying. I assume it's like a Nintendo panicking about privacy or whatever. But yeah, I wanted to take loads of funny photos of Isaac like standing over the track and like pointing at the car and laughing and stuff.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't let me. It's really annoying.
That really sucks.
Yeah, really dumb. But there you go.
Fuck's sake. I don't know. It sounds like I would play that once or twice and have a really good time with it, but then it would get packed to why I never bought it out again. You know what I mean?
This is the thing, because obviously it was out on Christmas Day, and obviously just because with everything going on, like his brain was just going fucking mental. So like we played it for a bit, and then it was like it got too much, and I was like, right, I'm gonna have to it needs recharging now, Isaac. I need to refuel it. And then it was out again on Boxing Day, and that was really good. And then it's been out a couple of times since, but like I would like to at some point like just spend an evening putting like quite an elaborate course together for him to just come down in the morning and find it. But I haven't done it yet. Oh well, at some point, I'm sure.
You've wasted one of my presents, Dad. I don't want to play it anymore, kid.
So the only other mildly irritating thing as well, so these cardboard gates that you have to put out. So once you've like unfolded them, like you can't really like flat pack them again. Like they're pretty, like you can you can sort of fold the legs back in a bit, but in order to actually flat pack them, you'd have to like unhook bits of cardboard from other bits, and it would. I'm pretty sure it would fuck it up over time. Yeah, exactly. So those 4 gates are now just like taking up a bit of room in the living room, which is annoying. But
nice. Okay.
Sea of Thieves, it's fucking brilliant. It's absolutely fucking brilliant. This is the thing I've played the most over Christmas by far. Got a regular group going now. Friends of the show, Chris and Cammy, we've been playing it pretty much every night we've been able to. So we've started getting involved in like the Tall Tales stuff. I think I mentioned it last time. So this is the sort of the sort of story. I mean, not that the story really matters, but yeah, it's a bit more of a story mode. There's like these sort of quite involved like chains of quests rather than it just being like, go here and they'll, here's like a map of an island. It's got some X's on it. Go dig up the chests or whatever. It's actually like there's a bit of story and you, rather than just getting like a map or an objective or a guy to kill, it's like, here's a pirate's diary. You've got to find where they dropped this treasure or where their boat sank or whatever. And you've got to and you're all looking through this book and it's like, right, it says they went here and then and it's never explicit, right? It's always sort of, well, they were in we were in like this area of the sea and we were at the small island in the northwest or whatever. And you have to sort of piece it together. And it's proper good fun. Like you do stuff like that. And then there's like really clever puzzles. It actually reminds me a lot of like doing escape rooms. Like we did this one. So yeah, we like found this island via the clues in this book. And then sort of, found this like secret vault. And then as we got in there was like this like big tombstone on it that we then, we like pushed a button and it was showing us like an image of like somewhere else on the island. But it was like with a spot marked on it. So it was like, right, one of us going, because obviously, it was pointing us at something we had to dig up. So you're directing another player to like this other bit of the island. It's like, right, there's a tree here, campfire here. And it's like, you got to figure out where the spot is. And it was just proper good fun. It was like some Crystal Maze shit. And it was just really enjoyable. And like we've had loads of sessions where we're just messing around and not, no particular, goals in mind. And we have actually met nice people now, which has been a blessing because, like I was saying last time, there's still this problem of like, you can just come across arseholes and they'll just blow your ship up and not ruin a session, but like you'll get no rewards for anything, if you haven't cashed your stuff in that you found. But yeah, we found some nice people. We approached, there was this public event on, and we decided to sail over to it. And then as we got there, because I didn't realise, it's got like proxy voice chat, right? So if you stood near other players, you can hear them, but otherwise you can't, unless they're part of your crew.
That's great.
But you have the little, there's like a little megaphone you can use, which allows that proxy chat to have greater range, but it like filters your voice so that it properly sounds like you're talking through a megaphone. And yeah, so we just we approached this island and then just heard this guy with a French accent just shout like, "Are you here to help or to attack? Choose wisely." Right? And I was like, oh shit. And I was like, fuck, where's me? Like, get my megaphone out. I was like, no, we're here to help, mate. It's all right. And yeah, ended up making friends with these French guys and just like sailing around with them for a bit and taking on missions together and stuff. And he's proper good.
Oh, hello. Are you the man who mugged people off last week on the podcast?
Yeah. Okay, right. You remember how many times I've said on this show you need to hear Matt's accents? Well, there's a reason why.
I kind of I stopped doing it halfway through.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. Like what's really funny is like, so Cammy and I used to play Destiny 2 with Chris quite a bit, and then he got Series S, and we played a bit of Destiny 2, and then Cammy was going to get Series S, and we said, oh, brilliant, this will be amazing, we'll all play loads of Destiny 2 together. It's not even had a look in because Sea of Thieves has completely taken over instead.
So are you replaying a lot of the same content and getting different outcomes with the variable being people that are getting involved, or is there just enough content for you to constantly be doing new missions?
Yeah, we've been doing new stuff. Yeah, there's just absolutely tons of it. Or even if it's like you can just take missions to do deliveries or find treasure or whatever. But there's like even as you rank up, so like I'm now at the point where the faction that's all about hunting like undead pirates, right? I'm now at the level with them where, as well as taking missions to go to an island and, shoot some skeletons or whatever, there are also missions where you take on a fleet of like NPC ships. And they're proper good fun. Like we had loads of good fun doing one of those, just like gets to the point where you're like properly like shouting orders at each other and stuff. It's like we did one, and it was like the first thing of one session, and we were just like, right, I'm not doing another one of those tonight because it's too much. Like it was amazing, but it was like exhausting. It's brilliant. Like if it carries on the way it is, like I don't think I could be arsed with the argument of like calling it a Game of the Year game because it's been out since 2017 it came out? No, can't be. No, it was 18, wasn't it?
I think it was 18. Yeah,
it was a while,
2018. Yeah. Because I wasn't on the show when it came out, was I? Because Isaac was still being a nightmare. But yeah, it has grown so much. And because I took the piss out of it along with everyone else when it first came out, because it was like there were enjoyable things about it. It was fuck all to do, and now it's just there's so much to do, and it's genuinely really good.
Yeah, that was the main complaint. I remember when we played the beta and we were like, this is really good fun, but there's nothing to do. Can't wait for the full game to come out. I'm sure there'll be loads to do. Oh no, that is it, is it? Right, that is it. Okay. And then it turns out, right, yeah, so if they've added the content, then I just can't see myself going back to it.
This is what I was going to ask. Would it be easy to get into, do you think? Is it like easy to get back
absolutely.
into?
This is the thing, like, because along with everyone else, I bemoaned the fact that there's no leveling or progression or whatever. I mean, there is progression, but it's just you sort of ranks with the factions and ticking off like commendations and stuff, which unlock gear, which don't do anything new. They just look different. But the plus side of that is like, so Chris and I have been playing it for weeks. Then Cammy gets an Xbox, and it's like we're all at the same level, and we just teach him what we've learned. So yeah, if you wanted to join in, like that, there's just no issue there whatsoever.
There's this isn't a optimized for Series S game yet, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, it is. So what have they added to it? What is it? Just higher frame rates, or what's the deal?
I think it's just higher res and better frame rate. I mean, it looks amazing. Still looks really nice. But then I think it always did, right? I think, or certainly the C was always.
The C did. I think the characters look terrible though.
Well, they're stylized, aren't they? I think they're supposed to look that way.
Okay.
But yeah,
they're stylized to look terrible.
What else? Some relatively quick ones. So I've been playing Superhot Mind Control Delete, the new one.
Oh yeah.
Which when they announced it, I
got a lukewarm response that game when it came out.
Well, what, the first one or this one?
No, the first one. Everyone loved it. The new one.
Well, yeah, because when they announced this one, I was a bit like, because playing Superhot VR felt like such a massive leap forward from the original. I was like, oh wow, I could never go back to playing the original again. And obviously this one is, so it's the third Superhot game, but it's not a VR one. It's in the style of the first one. So I didn't really see what the fuss was. It's sort of a roguelike. But there is like a mission tree that you can work through, and there's different sort of paths you can take on it. But each one of those sort of levels that you pick, that's then like a series of semi-random stages, and as you go through them, like every few stages, you can pick like a hack for your brain, which would be thing like you always start with a pistol, or guns reload faster, or you move faster, or things you throw like always explode on impact. And it's just enough that as you're going through, it's like a series of stages, you're sort of putting a loose sort of build together and figuring out like any roguelike, sort of figuring out abilities that would work well together. And it is actually really enjoyable. And obviously because of the whole, time moves when you move thing, it's a really good one to play remotely, because although it is sort of an FPS, you
can take your time with it. Yeah.
Exactly, take as long as you want. So that's, I've been playing a lot of that. Just on the phone. So that's been cool. Oh my God. So for Christmas, we're opening Christmas presents, and
I remember the pictures you sent me, yeah.
So years ago, I got Starlink for the Nintendo Switch. This was the Ubisoft, Toys to Life thing with the spaceships, and I'm a sucker for cool spaceships anyway. I've only got like 2 amiibo and stuff, so I've never really got involved with this stuff. But I was like, do you know what? Well, it was like £12. Was it like 2 Christmases ago? Because it absolutely bombed. So I got the Switch version with the R-Wing from Star Fox and stuff, and played a bit of it and thought it was okay. Never really went anywhere with it. Since then, Isaac had like fucked around with the R-Wing toy and like broke bits off it and stuff. But yeah. I was opening my presents from the in-laws, and they'd got me the PS4 version of Starlink.
That is pure. He likes video games, and oh my god, there's a really cheap one.
Yeah,
we'll get him that.
$9.95.
Yeah,
go for it.
So I was like, all right. I mean, Isaac will probably enjoy it, and it's obviously it comes with a different shit because obviously the R-Wing doesn't come with the PS4 version. In fact, you can't even use the R-Wing or Fox McCloud with the PS4 version, obviously.
No, that would be crazy if you could.
It would.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was like, do you know what? It's a different ship. Like, Isaac will like it. Like, whatever. So then I start opening presents from my brother-in-law, and they've got me another copy of the Switch version of Starlink. I was just like, fucking hell. Like, it's not it's not that it's a thoughtless gift, but I was saying to New, it's like, no, it's just if they'd asked, I'd have said, like, look, like, I've already got the game. Like, it's not a bad idea at all. But there's other stuff you can buy for it. Like, there's other ships and what have you. But I was like, oh, fucking hell. So I was toying with just, like, giving them to a charity shop or something. And then, obviously Boxing Day.
Charity shop are like, we've got hundreds of these.
Sorry, mate.
Our in-laws was 10 copies of PS4.
I mean, Dave,
no
you checked, didn't
Starlink.
you? You checked, didn't you, Dave, what CX would give me for them?
65p.
So, Boxing Day, of course, Isaac spots them and he's like, oh, what's this? We'll play this, Daddy. But I was like, oh, all right, fine, go on then. So I opened the PS4 version up, had a quick go on that. And because, I remember the Switch version obviously looking a bit compromised, but basically good. Yeah. And and I played the PS4 version. I was like, actually, this isn't way better than I remember the Switch one being.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So then I thought, no, sorry, I'll get the Switch version out again. And I don't know if they've patched it, but I think it looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Considering, and I thought it'd be better off with the Switch version because then I have actually got two ships to switch between, whereas the PS4, obviously, I can't use the R-Wing. Anyway, short story. Long story short. About an hour later, I'd ordered another two ships.
How much did they
I was going
cost?
to ask if you can even get the others.
Well, yeah, you can. I mean, obviously, stock isn't amazing. Well, this is it. They're like £6 each. So
more expensive than the game itself.
Well, exactly.
600 pennies.
So I got another two ships. And been having a really good time with Isaac. Like the game's fine, right? If it wasn't for the toy stuff, the toy stuff is what makes it.
I liked what I played of it.
Yeah. And it's been really fun, like, because obviously, so there's all different weapons that you can swap in and out, and there's like different damage types and stuff, and that does quite quickly become relevant. Like the ones it gives you in the starter pack, you get like an ice one and a fire one. That's basically enough to get you through most encounters. But then as you buy the other ships, there's like a gravity gun, so you shoot it and it like suspends enemies in the air, and then there's one that creates like a sort of vortex that draws enemies in, and then if you shoot that with like a different element, it makes it a fire vortex or an ice vortex, whatever. That stuff, it's quite good, and it's just been really fun, like playing it. So like Isaac doesn't want to play it because it's too difficult, but he likes watching me play it. And then when we're doing like boss fights and stuff, where there's it's dropping in different types of enemies and what have you. And I'm just like calling out like different guns that I want and stuff. And, give me the yellow one. And he'll be like, he's like the engineer, so he's like messing around with the ship and changing parts for me and stuff. And it's been properly good. It's really weird. Like looking at the ships, there's loads, or not loads, but like a fair few that like they were only like retailer exclusive ones in the US. So you can't actually get loads of them anymore.
Oh, surely can't you just do the microtrade? You can buy them digitally,
well,
right?
you could, but it's nowhere near as fun because you just like going to like press start, right? Go into menu, change this gun for this gun. Like I don't know, just sort of ruins it really. Yeah. So I bought these two, and there's another two I could get, but I haven't yet. And the only place I can find them is on a website in the Netherlands. Called, it's like nedgame.nl or something, and they've got a couple of them, but of course thanks to Brexit That's not happening, is it? So
No.
I think I'm just going to stick with the 4 ships I've got. I think that's probably enough.
Do you think Ubisoft are looking at the sales figures and going, what the fuck?
Someone's buying fucking stuff. Jesus Christ.
Someone's buying Starlink ships.
Yeah.
I mean, all they had to do was ask. We'd send them.
It's just fucking loads.
It would have saved us in storage.
I think what you're saying, Sean, if I can read between the lines, is that if anyone online sees a deal for Starlink, they should.
If you see, hang on, let me tell you, the ships I'm after.
Presumably you're
Definitely.
after the Xbox version. I mean, that's what you need next, yeah?
That's true, actually. Yeah, that would complete the set and PC for that matter. Oh, that's another thing that's really a thing that's really shit about the PS4 version. So obviously for the Switch version, you just get a little dock for the Joy-Cons, and then your ship just slots into the top of it. PS4, it's the same, but it's fucking wired. It's USB. You have to wire it into the front of the console.
Oh my god, that's awful.
I
Yeah,
thought it was going to be just shipping some blue tack. Just stick bang on
figure
the
it
top
out
of
yourself.
the
Well, it's doubly
touchpad.
weird because I think the Xbox one is wireless. Obviously, it plugs into the whatever that little connector is, on the bottom of the controller. But then the PS4's got some extra, like it's not just an audio jack, is it? There's like an extra bit for data and stuff.
What is that for? That weird proprietary thing. It's bizarre, isn't it? What is that?
I think you get some.
Or something.
I think you get some headsets that have like volume controls and stuff in them, don't you? I think it does that stuff.
Okay.
So that's another reason the Switch version is sort of better, really. That was a weird surprise, and then I felt bad for being mean about my in-laws for getting them. But there you go.
There you go.
The only other one, I mean, I'll probably let you lead on this, Dave. I'm playing Horace.
Well, yeah, this was my
it was a
Christmas
quid
game
or something.
Yeah, it's my Christmas game. I think it was it Chris Schilling that. Oh,
possibly. There was quite a few people were talking about it.
Yeah, somebody told me
Yeah,
something was
someone-
like it was a quid on Switch. So it's like you got to have a.
yeah,
Right.
that was me.
Okay.
I told you that.
I thought it was
Yeah,
John
it was a
Denton.
quid on Switch.
Okay.
Yeah, it usually is. So Horace is an indie game that came out. It was 2020, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Didn't it come out 2019 on PC? I think it came out 2019 on PC, but it launched on Switch.
Doesn't count, does it?
And for whatever reason, it's a £10 game, but for whatever reason, they sold it for a quid over Christmas. And there was various people tweeting about it on twitter.com. And I thought, well, for a quid, I'll give it a go. There's a lot of people recommending it or whatever. And it became my Christmas game. It's a side-scrolling platformer with very low, it's an indie game. It's with very low polygon pixelated
art,
graphics as well. Yeah, it's pixel art. But it's so weird. It's not what I was expecting at all. Like, it really isn't. I didn't know it was going to be like this big story-driven thing with really long cutscenes, and the whole game is text-to-speech. There's no like voice acting in it because the whole game is being told to you by Horace, who is a robot. So they use text to speech for Horace, and even when the other characters are talking, because you're being told the story, it's in Horace's voice rather than actually hearing what the characters are saying. I wasn't expecting it to have so many interesting mechanics, like this weird gravity shifting thing, like you put these shoes on quite early on in the game, and suddenly you can walk on ceilings. But when you do that, the whole screen flips round, and the only way to tell you're actually on a ceiling is by looking at Horace's tie, which is like not affected by the gravity stuff. And it's really funny in places. Like there's some really good jokes in there. And it's really fucking hard as well, like insanely hard. And finally, this is a Peggy 12 game, and before you play it in front of kids, there's some real bad stuff in there.
Yeah.
Like it's got the C word in it, but it bleeps it out, but not well enough. Like you can hear cut bleep like that, right? It's got references to like real life sex offenders in it, which has been a discussion point between some people I know.
Okay, so I've not seen this bit yet. So,
have you made the train station yet? Have you been to a train station?
No.
Right. Okay. So there's a poster with an image of Jimmy Savile on there.
Okay.
I see. It's strange that I don't think is played for jokes. Like it for me, it felt like some sort of commentary on this. It's very based. The whole thing's based in sort of 80s, 90s nostalgia, right? There's loads of reference in there to 80s and 90s television, British television. There's because I'm assuming it's developed in Britain because I mean everything is a nod to British television or video games or whatever, and that feels like it's in keeping with the tone of the game, right? Because the idea is that this was a world, it's kind of an alternative Britain where this massive war's broken out, and everything's a mess, and it's kind of a callback to, you know, look, because there were, James, you were saying that there were railway campaigns featuring Jimmy Savile, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, they
okay, so it's right. So it's not just something they've pulled out for no reason.
No,
but
then there is like some stuff later on which is played for jokes.
Okay,
but they
like
I don't know. The thing with the Savile picture, which I think is like unfortunate, is that I mean I get why they put that in there. Like it is like it does work in the sense that, you know, that is part of like the broken culture or whatever from that era. But it's like I can still see why just suddenly having that face like just appear is not great. Like I'm not sure.
Well, that's the question, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the question. Does it need to be there?
I don't think it does.
One, does it need to be there? And I'm kind of agree with you. And two, like the rating on this is just wrong. A 12. There's some really violent shit in it as well. Towards
they've
the
clearly
end.
Not looked at it properly. They've just gone, oh, it's.
There's like
I don't know how that works
give
out.
It a 12.
It's weird.
Yeah.
There's violence in it. There's like a lot of like racism sort of stuff as well, which is a bit off as well. I think sometimes.
So I've
not in
so
that. Not in
there's
that.
One.
It is. It's not in that it is in any way racist, because I don't think it is. But it's just like sort of nods to things which I don't know.
It's jokes about racism, isn't it? Rather than
that's what I mean. Yeah,
racist jokes. But that's which is I think is a worthwhile distinction. But that's not to say that it won't make people uncomfortable, and that's
Yeah. And I will say fully, like, when they do play out that stuff later on, it was making me laugh. Like, I'm not going to lie to you and say I was offended, because I wasn't. But I could see why some people would be. Like, you know, but not me personally. It made me laugh. I think it was the way it was done was quite funny. But, you know, you could see how people would be shocked, especially going into it thinking this is a cute. Because the tone is totally different with the main character. The main character is like the nicest character. Yeah, you know what I mean. It's
and I think that's why it works. It's sort of it's partly because he's naive, but then it's not making fun of him for being naive.
Oh no, it's
just like his. It's all about his sort of like naive observations, isn't it? Of like what's going on around him. And but then that one doesn't, like, the thing with the Savile picture is I don't think that works in that sense, because the character doesn't play off that in any way. And it just feels that it's just there. Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like it's there for sort of like shock value or whatever.
It's not through. Yeah, the other stuff.
I didn't feel it was shock value. I think it was trying to say that, you know, this whole world in this game is destroyed. And naturally, you're sad that a whole world has been destroyed. But it's sort of I took it as, but that world that wasn't a perfect world, was it?
See,
you know what I mean?
I agreed with you up until the pelt the wrong uns thing, where it's like,
right, okay, I didn't want to, but then that's a joke. Like, that isn't played out to make a point at all, is it? Like, that is actually a joke, and you know, I'm not gonna lie, I laughed at it. I thought it was funny, but also sort of thought, fucking hell, that's a bit. I don't know, but with all that put aside, I've got to say I've really been enjoying the game. Like, the gameplay it's really strange. It feels like you know, like a mobile platformer game where you just think this has really been cheaply put together. Like, the things that are getting in your way don't look good. They're like, right, there's a spark going left and right on the floor now, and you need to avoid the spark. There's no why is that spark there, and what is it doing? And it's just there are sparks and spikes. You have to avoid them, that sort of stuff. But it just the actual platforming itself is really good. It's just really hard in places, really hard. But I feel it does enough to help you through.
Yeah.
But James, from our discussions we've had, you seem to have tired of this game way earlier than I did.
I think because, to me, it feels... Okay, I don't mean this in like a derogatory way, really, but it does feel like one of those Euro platformers. Do you know what I mean? From like the 16-bit era, which there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because some of those, there were good ones. I don't think there were many good ones, but there were good ones. This one feels like a very good version of that, like a very good sort of Euro platformer. And
for sure.
I did enjoy it, but it did feel, the whole experience felt overly long to me. Like it felt like it could have been like cut, like some parts could have been sort of like slimmed down quite considerably. Like
I agree.
I didn't enjoy the fact that you've got that sort of like, collecting rubbish like aspect to it, which is fine, but you're supposed to when you get close to the end, like the whole point is that the character wants to have collected like 1 million pieces of like rubbish, and that's like one of the...
So to explain for those that hasn't played it, there's junk everywhere, and you go around collecting it, and you were told that one of your purposes of in life is to collect 1 million items, right?
Yeah, and it's like that part, like that thing. That's part of like the whole sort of collectathon kind of thing. But then that's also supposed to be used as a mechanic so that you explore levels and stuff. But by the time I was near the end of the game, I was at the point where I was like, I do not care anymore. Like, there's no way that I'm going to go back and explore all of this, to try and like collect all of this rubbish and stuff. It is definitely one of the funniest games I played for a very long time. I did really enjoy that, and I really enjoyed like the sort of the story aspect to it. And I just, like as you said, the method of narration in it is brilliant. Like, the fact that you've got that character saying everything really completely sort of like deadpan, like and Mr. Silton is a brilliant character as well. It's like
Mr. Silton's a great character, for sure.
Did you not feel that like the way he speaks, obviously, as you say, is sort of robotic text to speech, but did you not feel there were instances where they had tweaked it a bit?
Yeah.
To sort of give emphasis at certain times, which if they have done that on purpose, then that's brilliant.
I'm pretty sure they had. And also, what I really appreciated about it is how varied everything is. You are doing some really weird stuff in this game.
Mm-hmm.
There are levels that go off the rails. There are bits where you're just playing arcade games. There's rhythm action stuff in there. There's all sorts of stuff, and none of it feels terrible. Because usually when a game sort of does that scattershot of stuff, like, right, okay, here's a rhythm action bit, it feels shit, right? It doesn't in this. Like, that the brick game, right, where you got to try and crack the bricks, right? That felt like rhythm Tengoku, is that the right way of saying it?
Tengoku, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you say Paradise, I think that's what they changed.
Yeah. It feels like that level of quality to me. Like, it felt really good. Some of the rhythm action stuff is great. Not everything is brilliant. Like the washing the dishes mini game is terrible. But like, I think the vast majority of it hits.
Yeah.
And
absolutely. I'd say that like most of the cultural references work. Like, they really do. And I dug a lot of that stuff. I thought that was really great. But I think
there's always that risk that it's going to be. Oh, look at that thing. Do you remember that thing? And it doesn't really feel like that, because a lot of the references are just in the background.
Yeah.
Like how. Just as an example, it took me a long time to realise that all the people walking around the streets or various different areas are like classic characters from British or even American sitcoms. You know what I mean? Or like, you're in a specific scene and you'll go, I recognise it. Oh yeah, it's from that. Like, it's not like, look at this. It can be.
Do you remember this?
It's not constant.
I'll tell you what else this feels like.
I think that's why that stuff works.
I really felt like this it feels touching in places as well, the story, which I thought was really nice.
100%. Yeah.
But then, this feels like a game that has had a lot of playtesting done for it. Do you know what I mean? Like, this has been, somebody has spent a long time trying to get like the sweet spot all the time of like, like how frustrating a level is, how, where checkpoints should go and all that kind of thing, because I never
Yeah,
felt
for sure.
The checkpointing
Yeah.
is really generous, isn't it?
I never felt like really irritated by it at any point. Like I felt generally it is tough in places, but I always felt it was it was reasonably fair. I didn't feel annoyed about that. And
I was saying someone, I think it was Kurt Lewin tweeted me after I said that I was playing it on Twitter and said, "Oh, I never really got on with Celeste or Super Meat Boy. Is this similar?"
I don't
And I'm
think it
like,
is.
in terms of difficulty, maybe, but it's not as intense, and that's the difference. There's big gaps between the very hard moments, and those very hard moments are very broken up with checkpointing, so it's not too bad. A couple of the boss fights I sort of got irritated with and felt a little bit too rough, but I think the way that it's broken up is completely different to those games. It's not all you're doing, basically. There's so much other stuff to do there that you can go off and do a little bit more if you don't want to go straight back into the heavy platforming.
But yeah, overall though, I think it was very good. It's just that I feel that maybe some of the cultural references and stuff don't really work, but in general, funny, good.
Yeah,
It was
you could
just
be, I mean, I wouldn't argue with you against that. I think you're probably right. I didn't have as strong a reaction to it as you did, but I could see why some people would. And it's certainly surprising because, when I bought the game, I fully intended to play it in front of Harry. And then and it started off and I was like, yeah, Harry's going to be into this. It's quite a sweet little story. And then all these references come out and I was like, okay, you're not going to watch that anymore. Like, I'm not happy with you watching this anymore. So I went on and completed it myself. Another point, hard to play in handheld mode, innit?
Yes.
Fuck
Was it?
me,
Yeah,
my
yeah.
thumb. My thumb is it's strained right now where it just really hurts. So, be warned with that. There's a lot of button pressing in that game. James, just one quick coded question. The competition and the way that sort of ends. Did you love that? You must have loved that, right?
Yeah, I did quite enjoy that. Yeah, the competition was good.
Brilliant. That's the sound of James loving
Well,
something,
I'm
ladies
not
and
gonna
gentlemen.
That's the sound of James not remembering it.
Yeah, that's true. James, what's
or
the
didn't
answer?
play it.
It was a good game.
Okay, all right, fine. Okay,
Wow.
let's move
Expertly dodged.
on. Yep.
Like him from the Matrix.
Okay, so the other games I've got on my list, I've been getting heavily into Rocket League again, but you don't need to hear me talking about that. But that is a fine video game, and I still love it. I just don't know where they're going to go with that next. I've been playing GTA 5. Do you remember that game?
Good.
Which kind of makes it's good, and I was sitting there thinking, I want to play I'm not playing Cyberpunk. I want to play like a city-based open world game. I really can't get into Watch Dogs Legion. Like I tried again, and I was like, it's asking me to do this mission that I hate, and it's so slow, and I don't really. Once I'd driven around the city a couple of times, I was like, okay, but that's kind of it. Like I don't really feel the need to do anything else. So I loaded up GTA 5, and I'm like, this is what a game should feel like. The characters, the city feels buzzing, the characters talking to each other. Just, I loved it. And what makes it crazy, and I put this in our WhatsApp group, like Quick Resume works with it. And that is the perfect game for Quick Resume to work. Because literally, I had to unplug it because I was doing some decorating in the front room, unplugged my console, plugged it back in, played a bit of Rocket League, and then thought, I'll do a mission on GTA before I turn it off. Turn it on, it come up Quick Resume. I was right back where I was, and it blew my mind. I thought, fuck me, that is just so good. Just remember how long you had to look at those loading screens. Thank God that this just works for these older games as well. But as much as I've been enjoying it, and I have been. And I find it mad that I've only completed it once. Like I've only played through it once, and that was when it came out on the 360. So that's kind of what's pushed me towards playing it again. I'm just so ready for GTA 6 now, and that's where that prediction come from. I'm just thinking, fuck me, I need, it looked incredible on the 360 back in the day, and now it still looks passable, but obviously quite ropey by today's standards. And after seeing Red Dead 2, I can't wait to see what Rockstar do with GTA 6 on these new consoles, man. That's going to be pretty mad. I can't wait for that shit. It's going to be good.
It's going to be good. On the one you're playing now, did you try first person mode?
No. I tried that when it came out on the Xbox One or whatever, and it's fine for 5 minutes. But no, I've just been playing it as normal GTA, basically, going to missions, not touching the online stuff, and just going through the story. I jumped back in at a great moment as well, where you tear down the house of the balcony of the tennis coach, and it's just great. All that stuff is great. I loved it. And then went into the not Apple offices and planted a device in there, the new iPhone that they were announcing. All that
ready for the keynote.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be interesting how they take that angle with the next GTA. I've got a feeling it's going to be more GTA 4 than it is GTA 5. You know, where they're going to go for that sort of... Because you remember the start of GTA 4, it was like, oh my God, they're going serious. And then it gets a little bit more wacky as you go along. But GTA 5 was full on wacky from the start, really.
I think
so, but I don't think they can do that after Red Dead 2.
I don't think they can do that after what's been going on in the world. Like, I think doing a GTA 4 style thing makes a lot more sense. Like doing something which is a bit more serious. Because what can you parody now? It's so much more difficult. Well,
I'm not sure. I think you can still parody things. I don't think that goes away. I just think some of that isn't the world crazy humour. I think that is kind of dulled now. And I think if they went down that route, you're not going to get the same reaction to it as you did during the 360 era. So, I'd be really... I'd hate for it to go too gritty, though. You know what I mean?
I don't know, like the idea, if they said actually, I mean, they wouldn't use this language, but the idea of it being totally straight, serious, like a Red Dead, but in a GTA universe, that would excite me much more than...
I don't know if it would,
obviously,
man.
next GTA will be amazing regardless, and I'm sure I'll love it and finish it and all that sort of stuff. But if the trailer showed instantly that it's much more like along the lines of a Red Dead story, serious, they'll be like, wow, okay, this is exciting. If it is much more the same, obviously it'd be good, but I would love it if they went proper, full serious with it.
I don't know, man, because then you're going to lose all the crazy stuff, like, you know, that's what people were complaining with GTA 4, wasn't it? Because they went too serious and it's like, I want parachutes. And then they brought out Ballad of Gay Tony and it was like, no, parachutes now. And everyone was like, yeah. So I wouldn't want to lose its edge in that regard. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see this year, definitely. Prediction. Nailed it. Locked in. The final game that I've been playing, I'm halfway through the Gears 5 Hivebusters DLC.
Yeah, I really want to play this. I've got it downloaded. It looks stunning, apparently, on Series X.
It doesn't look stunning. It doesn't. It looks all right. It doesn't look stunning. I don't know where those claims have come to. I only saw the headline on that Eurogamer article. I didn't read the actual article, but it doesn't look stunning.
A few outlets report it, but...
Yeah, nah. It looks all right, but stunning, not for me. I don't think it looks next-gen, put it that way. But it is really fun to play when the shootings start. There's some story in there, but the story is absolutely shocking. That you meet up with a guy that sends you on the mission, and he says, "This is a really dangerous mission. Are you sure you can handle it?" And I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding me? Like, what is this?" And you know, some of the lines they dole out. I mean, I know Gears is known for its sort of like meathead, you know, that sort of dialogue, but it felt like they turned a corner a little bit with that with Gears 5. They've gone right back to it with this one. So yeah, I mean, it's and they front load a lot of story stuff in this as well, which is always hard to do when you're playing in co-op. I'm playing 3-player co-op, so it's it's hard to stay focused because everyone's just cracking jokes throughout the whole thing. But the shooting's great. So we're going to finish that this week, hopefully, probably tomorrow night.
Yeah, Gears 5 was excellent, so more of that is good.
Yeah, maybe I need to go back and play that game.
Oh, you never finished it, did you?
No. I got to the first like open area with the ice and stuff, and you're on that little motorbike. I was playing it with James, and then I stopped playing it. If it was free player, then I probably would, but although it is free player, one of you's got to be the little robot drone, and no one's going to want to do that. So, okay. So that's my list, James.
I mean, I've been playing Gears of War 4, actually. I played and finished that over the Christmas. I've got nothing really much more to add from what you've just been saying about Gears 5. It's very forgettable and feels very conservative, but it's fine. It was a fine experience.
Is that the one with the orange like pus coming out of everything?
Yes, yeah, and it's like...
Or was that 3?
Yeah, no, that is... although, yeah, they did that in 3 as well, and also in Judgment.
Didn't you start on a ship or something?
Yeah, it's...
Oh, wait. Okay, fine.
Yeah, but it was okay. It's, as you said, it's one of those games where I felt... I enjoyed playing it mostly because I wasn't thinking about really what I was doing very much. It was just fun, cutting around and chainsawing stuff and all that kind of thing. It's fine. It was absolutely okay. I am still intending to play Gears 5 though, because that is what I missed from last year. And I know, Matt, you've said it's really, really good, so I need to go back and play that at some point.
Yeah, I was really impressed with it.
Are you playing alone or you got your crew?
I've just been playing alone. Yeah, I've been playing it through on my own.
Man, maybe we need to go back to Gears 5 then. I'll play that with you.
Yeah, we should do that, because it would be more fun probably, because playing on your own, it's not amazing. It's fine. The other thing that I played over the Christmas mostly was I played the Ori games.
That sounds like that's definitely going to happen.
It definitely will happen.
Yeah, maybe we should do that.
Because I thought you were
right.
I thought you were already like.
Moreover, has anyone noticed that James keeps saying the Christmas?
He said it again. I missed it.
He played it over the Christmas.
No. I mean to say over the Christmas. Yeah, but I can say over the Christmas period. I can say that.
Yeah, but you're not saying the period, James.
Okay.
Sorry. Go on.
Yeah. Anyway, over the Christmas, I played the Ori games because I'd been playing. I played Will of the Wisps before the Game of the Year show and finished it before then. And then I thought, well, okay, I'm going to go back and play the Blind Forest now. Forest. That's the one. It's not. It's not a Blind Forest. Yeah. So I thought I'd go.
They really take the piss on Valentine's Day, don't they? That lot.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, overall, I did enjoy it. But it's just that these games have a mechanic in them that I really, really hate and really make me just want to destroy my controller. Can't stand it.
They're on Xbox consoles.
No, they have this. What they have is they got this like mechanic whereby you jump and then you have to jump like close to a projectile, and then you can then redirect the projectile to like another direction, and also give yourself a boost for the jump. And it's
yeah, that's really easy though, isn't it?
It is easy, but it's really annoying when you're doing it over and over and over again, and you miss your timing or whatever, like just slightly, and then it goes off, and then you have to start again. And like towards the end of both of those games, it like there's entire levels which are just based on that mechanic, and I just hated it. Like every single time I did it, I absolutely hated it and didn't enjoy it at all. And there was a part at the end of the first game where I tweeted it. I was so angry, like with the way it was, because it was just ridiculous. Like what they were like expecting you to do was just completely ridiculous, and I just didn't enjoy it very much. I didn't enjoy either of these games that much. I thought Will of the Wisps was significantly better than the Blind Forest, but I still didn't think that they're very good. They're very linear, they have horrible difficulty spikes, and Matt, do not play them because they've got horrible chase sequences in them as well, which are just like the worst chase sequences I've like played.
Yeah, the first one starts with a big chase sequence, doesn't it? Because I'd played that.
Yeah, but
or was it the second one that starts with that? One of them does.
They both do.
Second one doesn't.
They've both got massive chase sequences that just go throughout, like all the time, and it's like it feels like Will of the Wisps definitely feels like a massive refinement of the Blind Forest, but it's still. I still don't think that they're as good as other Metroidvanias that I've played. They look amazing, they sound very nice, but I don't like the mechanics. I really, really don't like the
I got up to the bit where you had to free all the gears in Will of the Wisps.
Yeah,
where you've got to unlock there's all these gears that are staying still, and you've got to release them. And I found myself not knowing where to go next. Like there's symbols on the map, but you go there and there's nothing to do.
Yeah.
Unless I've completely missed something, and that frustrated the hell out of me. Because
there's a lot of that.
That's kind of where I stopped.
And there's a lot of that in the Blind Forest as well, because even though that is a lot more linear than Will of the Wisps, it's still not clear often, like what you're supposed to be doing and where you're supposed to be going, that kind of thing. I don't know. I didn't really enjoy it. Both games. I was kind of glad when they were over when I'd finished them, which is a terrible thing to say. It's like if this is something that you're putting time into. I don't know why it got to the point especially with the Blind Forest, where I got to the end and I was doing it just through bloody mindedness of like, I'm just going to finish this now because this is irritating me so much. I'm just going to finish it. This is not beating me. Was how it felt. But I wasn't enjoying myself like very much. I didn't. Yeah, both those games I don't think are great. I think there are definitely better Metroidvania games around, and I really like that style of game. These ones I don't think are particularly for me. I just don't think they're great.
Fair enough.
But then the other thing I've gone back to is I've gone back to Mass Effect Andromeda, and I've played quite a lot more of that. It feels so weird. It's a really weird feeling game. I mean, the combat is really dull. I don't know if either of you... Because you've played it, haven't you, Dave and Sean?
I finished it, yeah.
You finished it, yeah. I mean, didn't you find the combat really boring? Like, it's not...
Yeah.
I hated the combat, and loads of people were, like, praising it when the game came out.
I mean...
but I thought it was a big step back from Mass Effect 3.
Definitely.
Yeah, and like I said, I think I said last time we talked about it, the customization with the weapon stuff is pretty amazing, but yeah, the combat's not hugely enjoyable.
But the customization feels like it was built around a microtransaction system that was then removed. That's what it feels like.
Probably after the Dead Space 3 controversy, right? I think that was
because everything requires like tons of points and everything to unlock. It really feels like it was like waiting for like, oh, if you buy this pass, then you can get this, this, and this for like whatever. And obviously they removed that. And there are so many systems in the game for like all the upgrade systems and all that kind of thing that I gave up caring about all of that. Like it's got like research stations, development stations, and yeah, it really does feel like this was designed, around microtransactions originally, and then they removed it.
Because doesn't it? Because you can have like different like character builds, can't you? That you can switch between, but you don't have to.
Yeah,
it just one good one will suffice.
Isn't that also the one where it's like you can send out teams and come back in 2 days and collect? Yeah, it's all that stuff.
Which again feels
like... they did some weird stuff with that series.
Yeah, and that Strike Team thing feels like it's something which was probably related to microtransactions somehow as well.
Yeah,
like you could just do it, and sorry, go ahead.
Do you remember what they did with 3?
Yeah, they did that for
you had
multiplayer,
to
didn't they?
Play the multiplayer, didn't they?
Yeah.
It was
we didn't have to.
Weird.
It was one of the things that contributed to your galactic readiness.
So if you wanted as much of the possible endings as you could, you had to do the multiplayer stuff.
I don't think you had to. It was just one of the many things that influenced it.
No,
I think that stuff was really overblown.
Yeah, you could do it without. Because
you could.
I did it without.
You can finish it without. Yeah, you can finish it without, but it limited your options at the end, right?
No. It was one of like literally dozens of things that could affect your score.
Okay, but then didn't your score go down the longer you left? Like if you didn't play it for like a few weeks or whatever, that reduced,
was that
didn't it?
Yeah, that was definitely a thing. And then you could bring it up again by playing multiplayer, I think. And it's like, I don't want to do that.
That's right. Awful.
Yeah,
but I mean, also the plot in Andromeda is all over the place. I mean, didn't you find that, Sean? It's a mess, isn't it? It's like, I don't know what the point of them going to Andromeda was. Like, I don't see why it had to be set in Andromeda, because there's nothing that makes it feel like it was worth going that far to explore. Do you know what I mean? It's like, they could have just gone...
because the point is that they'd, via a very big telescope, had observed that there was this solar system with like a shitload of like habitable garden worlds.
Yeah.
So they managed to put this expedition together. So it was just like a research expedition.
And it wasn't just, if I remember correctly, and this was a long time ago, it wasn't the only one either, was it? There were several different arcs going to different galaxies.
There was like different. Yeah, so you're on like obviously the human ship, but then there's ones for Turians.
No, I mean there were also other human ships going to other galaxies that they're.
Right. I don't know.
Possibly.
Don't know. But in this case, it. Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, in this case, it turns out. Spoilers, obviously. Yeah, you get there, and the planets aren't that brilliant after all, and there are capital R reasons for that. So you're sort of thinking like, Christ, why have they bothered? But by the end of the game, that stuff comes together all right. I think I actually really liked the ending.
Okay,
which surprised me.
I'm hoping that improves because
I'm not saying you should finish it, but it's
I mean, the thing that
how far in are you? Do you know?
I don't know, because I think I've done about 3 or 4 planets, like to make them habitable, and I've done that, and I've just got. I'm trying to remember the point I've got to without can I spoil it? I don't know. Does it matter?
I don't know. I've been lax about this stuff before
yes.
and got told off. So
Okay,
I would say yes.
I don't think I'm going to say anything. But
yeah. Are you finding that there's just like a massive difference in how good the worlds look? In that some look like absolute dog shit and some are actually pretty stunning.
Yeah, like the ice world looks brilliant. Like I was really impressed by that. I thought it was great. But some of them, I mean, there's that one which is like the home world of like one of the races that you meet looks dreadful. Like it looks absolutely terrible, and it looks like a 360 game. Like lots of parts of that, and it's just like you can't see anything either, and it's just not very good. But then also the thing that I've been most
was that the swamp one?
Yeah.
Was that the swamp level?
Yes.
I remember that being terrible.
Yeah, just like plants everywhere and stuff, and it was just
But
grim.
it's
yeah.
But it's also I've been disappointed by like the interactions and like the characters and stuff. I mean, I don't really care about any of the characters in this game. Like none of them. I don't
think I can remember any
exactly.
of them.
None of them are like memorable, like in the ways that the ones from like 1, 2, and 3 were. Where there was characters there that were really interesting to talk to. None of these do I really care about. None of them are very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm disappointed that also there's not much interaction with any other alien species. Like there's only basically, from what I can see so far, 2. Like 2 ones that 2 new ones that you discover when you get to Andromeda, and one of them you sort of start a war with right at the beginning of the game, but there's no option whatsoever for any dialogue or any discussion. It just that you're at war kind of thing, which is a bit of a shame. And then the twist, as it were, that comes later on is so like it's really obvious that's where that's going. It just I don't know. It just feels like this. This felt like it really didn't have direction when they were developing this, and from the reading I've been doing about it, that definitely seems to have been the case, where they didn't really know where they were going, and it went all over the place. And I know
because it was at one point it was going to be a No Man's Sky, wasn't it? And then they binned that, and then it basically the game we actually ended up with was only worked on for about 12 to 18 months because they kept just chopping and changing what the game actually was.
Yeah.
So it's sort of a miracle that it came out at all, really. But
yeah. And they cobbled it.
Well, I mean, don't worry, James. Don't worry, because if I remember correctly, the rumours are this was more of a B team project, and the actual BioWare are working on this new big multiplayer thing that's going to take over the world. So we'll be looking forward to that. You've got that to look forward to.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Yeah.
Okay, that's probably enough on Mass Effect Andromeda, isn't it?
Yeah, that's pretty much all I played. I mean, Horace was the main thing I played over Christmas.
Yeah, same here.
Have you done it again?
We did play a little bit. What was it? 52 Worldwide Classics or whatever it was. We did play quite a lot of that. Yeah, it's still crap, but for some reason we've really enjoyed that over the Christmas break. Bit of bowling and that. Bit of subpart bowling. Right, okay.
Yeah, that was the game that really made me want to get a Wii to show Elodie how good
actual bowling
really was. Because at one point, me and Elodie loved playing that. I think when over Christmas, when Nintendo emailed everyone with their sort of year in review, that was one of my top 3 games. And I think it's because me and Elodie played like bowling and darts, and there's I'll be over the air hockey thing for a bit, but. That in that week, I was like, I've got to get an actual Wii to show Elodie what proper bowling, Wii bowling,
actual bowling
is like.
Yeah.
I should quickly mention I got a Quest 2 for Christmas, but I've just been like dipping into loads of things in it, so nothing really worth talking about yet. But the headset itself is wonderful.
What do you think to the standard strap?
Do you know? I don't mind it. I probably will look to upgrade it at some point.
I wasn't too impressed with that when I tried it.
Yeah, but the screen on it's brilliant. I mean, I've not used any of the proper high end headsets, but to me, this is really nice. Like it's now at the point where it's worth me putting my glasses on underneath the headset. Not that it's very comfortable, but it's like it's that sharp that it's now worth doing that for me.
New screen's great. It's so much lighter. I like even the extra space on the controllers to put your thumb. It's just nice.
Yeah, and it seems to be, I don't know if it's because of the headset or because I've got a new graphics card, but streaming stuff from the PC is just like flawless now as well. Like with the experience I had with the Quest 1 is that it was fine, but the difference, wireless versus wired was noticeable, whereas this is just spot
Because I know Quest Link itself is out of beta, but the wireless options, they're still, are they still a third party or?
Yeah, so this is it's a slightly hacky solution. So you have to buy what is it, virtual desktop?
Virtual desktop, yeah.
Yeah, and then there's a patch that you can apply to let it just stream VR stuff from the PC, and it works brilliantly. Well, in fact, I might actually finish Alex now, because presumably it won't crash my computer anymore. So yeah,
right.
Excited.
Listen, I've just looked at the time. We're nearly at 3 hours already.
Yeah.
Let's get a few questions out of the way. We'll save some of the others for next week. I can't believe we've gone nearly 3 hours. We had nothing to talk about. Let's get straight into the emails.
I'll just do some quick ones. So Phil Walters says, "Do you honestly think EGX or Res are going to happen this year?"
No.
I mean, it's a no, isn't it?
I don't know. I think EGX might make it. You know.
I suppose if they're doing, if they're aiming for September, October with it,
it's possible.
But let's think of the vaccines, right? I mean, is it like the entire population, UK population, say, isn't going to be vaccinated by September? Are they?
Well,
no.
Boris said that they would be actually today. They said that it was going to happen.
So 7 million people.
Wait, what? They said what?
Okay, so Johnson says, I just read this. It says, Johnson says he expects all first 4 groups to have been vaccinated by mid-February. So that's 16.7 million people.
Yeah, that's different.
And it's like...
That's not us. That's shielding people, people who are, prior issues, older people.
The entire country doesn't need to be vaccinated. But there's all sorts of factors.
Yeah. My worry is that if it's still anywhere around, are they going to test everyone before they get in? I think it's too much of a risk, even September, surely.
Yeah, even if it goes ahead, will it be
every fucking week with this thing?
Well, yeah,
they do in this country.
But even if it does go ahead, will it be a compromised experience? Who knows? I mean, I think Res is out, right?
Yes.
I was thinking the other day. We had that running joke, as things were just getting worse and worse and worse, like into summer last year. Dave would occasionally go do you think Res will still be on? Because that was the first thing we were worried about when it all kicked off. Yeah. But it's but you can't now do that joke because it now just sounds like a sincere question about Res 21. It doesn't.
Or Res 22.
I think it's a no, isn't it?
I don't know, man. I don't know. We literally don't know how well anything's going to work. I mean, it could be as likely for EGX 2022 to be cancelled as it could be 2021 go ahead. We just don't know.
I mean, obviously, ReadPop / Gamer Network obviously have staff who work on this stuff, and they must be doing something. They can't just be sitting on their hands thinking, "Oh, well, we'll wait for the virus to go away." They'll be doing something. There'll be a contingency plan for, I guess, either way, right? But I can't even imagine how so say you want to put an event like this on in September. How does the fucking insurance work for that? Surely no one's covering that at this point.
Then ringing up the usual venue and them going, "We're currently a hospital. So we cannot guarantee you the space."
Yeah, exactly. Can't even imagine.
I mean, the queues for the vaccine booth are going to be mental.
Yeah.
Rather than an Uga. So.
Michael Fox be lining up
for 2 doses.
Conky Donker says, "You four have been a brilliant reprieve during 2020, with a pod release every Wednesday being something I look forward to. After Dave's recommendation for Backpage Pod, are there any other podcasts you'd recommend that you enjoyed through 2020?
Yeah, that was on Twitter. Backpage Pod is a podcast from 2 very well-known video game journalists that I highly recommend because they just talk about the old days all the time, and it's brilliant. It's brilliant to listen to. I love that. So check that out. But recommendations, Sean?
I started listening to Hey Lesson, which is a podcast by Brendan Caldwell, who's a games writer, and it's all basically him interviewing real life experts in certain fields that people are suddenly interested in because of a game. So he interviewed a historian about Greek mythology, obviously through the lens of having recently played Hades, and Chris Pratt was on it as well. Really interesting. So I've just listened to that one, and I'm going to dive through a load of the old ones as well. It's really cool.
Matt?
I haven't listened to a new podcast in ages, but I was just thinking the other day, like the thing that really has massively helped in 2020 is just knowing Monday morning I get in my car to go to work, or if I'm not going to the office, just at home with a coffee, listening to the Totally Football show. And that's Mondays and Tuesdays. And like Thursdays as well as like fantasy football. Like basically, James Richardson has basically kind of got me through lockdown. So I'm thankful for that, but nothing new.
Do you know, I never, because obviously, you know, we get loads of listeners saying like Wednesday morning is like a little, you know, waypoint for them every week because, you know, we release the show and like you saying that about that podcast as well. I never, like, my experience of listening to podcasts is I just, when I am free to listen to one, I open up Pocket Casts and just like, right, what's available now? I have no concept of when my favourite shows actually release.
Oh, I do. Yeah, I track that shit, definitely.
So, yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm the minority on this one. It's just interesting, isn't it?
I do, but I know it. I used to basically know, okay, Mondays like are these 2 or 3 podcasts, Tuesdays that podcast. I used to have like a certain number of podcasts every single day, but over last year, I don't know, work and stuff being all over the place, I just kind of, I really have just listened to Totally Football Show podcasts, and then I know Bombcast is out on Wednesday. I listen to that for like a couple of car journeys if I'm in the car, and then I'm back to. No,
it does sound like a nice little
I used to know every single day
have, like,
these podcasts come out at these times. Even like that comes out usually 4ish. Yeah.
Okay.
That sounds nice.
Well, I'll do mine then quick. So obviously we've mentioned them before, but Player One podcast, shout out to them. The Special Moves podcast, I listen to that weekly. That's really good. That's again another video gaming podcast. I can't stress it enough. Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend is a fantastic podcast. Like if you're looking for a celebrity-based one, Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend is a must listen. It's hilarious every week. And a friend of mine has started a podcast that some of you might be interested in. If you've got young kids that either stress out at bedtime or they stay out really late, it's called Your Floating Bed, and it's a sort of combination between meditation techniques and storytelling, and it's really professionally put together. It sounds really good, and it seems to work because Joe used it on our kids tonight, on Charlie tonight, and it's been the best bedtime he's had for about 3 weeks. What's that?
Because we've done like similar stuff with Isaac, and there's just, I don't know, it's like most nights it's like he's just not listening, like he's just not really interested.
Yeah, you've got to sort of sit with them and get into it with them, I think. You know,
I don't just put it on and leave the room. Like I just
Yeah, no. I know what I mean. But like I was
That's
just
podcast, mate. Brilliant. See you later.
A lot of it is like instructions, like stretch out and think about your feet tingling, all that sort of stuff. But definitely give that a go. Your Floating Bed is brand new. I think they've got like 5 episodes out.
Cool.
But yeah, it's a friend of mine's put it together, and it sounds really it sounds really promising. I was a bit worried because they were like, can you listen to this, see what you think, and asking me for a few bits of advice, and I was like, is this going to sound like hello and welcome to... But it doesn't. It sounds so good, like, and the mix is just perfect, which was really surprising for someone trying their hand at podcasting for the first time.
Because especially like if you're doing something that's supposed to be relaxing, like the production is
that's really
important, isn't it?
It is really important, and it's a cracking idea as well. So yeah, check that one out. Cool. James.
As you said, Player One is always the one that I go to every week, and I look forward to every release. But the thing, I think, also Ian Lee's, the late night alternative, that has been a big part of my sort of routine. I think for like the last year really, it's been something to look forward to every morning. It's been
since the move to Twitch, it's been a really different vibe, isn't it? But still massively entertaining.
Yeah. It's been very good,
and I'm looking forward to that coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, one more I did enjoy recently. I know we've taken the piss out of Louis Theroux's podcast a bit at times because it's like it often feels like he doesn't really know what a podcast is. But he interviewed Rylan the other week, who I've never seen Rylan on any of the things that actually made him famous. Like he was on Big Brother, and then was it The Voice? It was one of those.
That's why I loved him. No, he was X Factor originally. Was
X Factor? Sorry,
I couldn't stand him on X Factor. and then he was on Big Brother, and I just thought, you're just a really lovely person.
This is it, yeah. I've only seen him in interviews and stuff, and he's just always seemed really sound. And yeah, his interview with Louis III is really, really interesting. And it's like he won me over like immediately because I've had this chip on my shoulder throughout COVID, where it's been revealed that like loads of celebrities and entertainers don't actually know how to do anything if they haven't got a team around them. Like they don't know how to set up a camera or a microphone or whatever. But like straight away, and like you hear this on Louis Theroux's show, like it's this constant anxiety the producers have, is that they're just like, right, what setup has the interviewee got? Because that's the thing they have to navigate. And yeah, the start of Ryland's episode, he's just like, no, I'm in my studio, I'm in my home studio, I do all my Radio 2 stuff from. And it sounds like amazing. And they're left in the producers saying like, oh yeah, we'll go then. This is fine. I was like, yeah, good sound. It's just really interesting.
Check that out.
Last question from Steve. This is nice and simple. How are you guys doing? I mean, all right. I'm gutted Christmas is over, which has really surprised me.
Same here.
I didn't think it was going to be as good as it was. Like I was gutted because so much of Christmas to me, I think I probably said this on probably the bonus show, but like it's the build up to it, and it's all the stuff I normally do. Like I normally go down to London, or my friends in London visit home for Christmas, and then and I knew all that stuff wasn't happening. But I have actually had an amazing time just at home with the family, and it's been lovely, and I can't believe I have to go back to fucking work tomorrow. Dreading it.
Oh, I went back today, man.
Yeah, me too.
It's hard.
Yeah, me too.
It is hard. I mean, I had a pretty terrible Christmas and New Year, to be honest with you. I caught a really nasty virus, and not that one, because I was tested twice. I also had to self-isolate for 8 days because they blatantly lost the test.
Oh, bollocks.
And once I rang up and said, where the hell are my results? This was after Joe had a test 4 days after me and got hers the next day. Yeah. 2 days after I called them up, they sent me an email saying, we couldn't read it. You need to get retested. So I had to go get tested again, and then got my negative result the next day. But yeah, I was really, really ill, literally from my last day at work through to started feeling better yesterday. I went back to work today. So that sucked. But Christmas Day was great. Although I was really ill, the kids really enjoyed it, and we did lots of stuff, and Jo cooked it was the first time cooking a Christmas meal, and she absolutely nailed it.
Amazing.
Yeah, so that was all great. And I got some nice presents, Like, it's funny, isn't it? Because, like, obviously I'm 36 now. I barely got anything, and the stuff that I did get were like little bits, like socks and stuff like that. But it was all stuff that I really liked.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had Xbox on them, so I was kind of like, I got Xbox socks. I'm up for that. Like, genuinely, I was like, oh, that's really cool. So yeah, I was a happy boy. And the only thing that I was really sad about on Christmas Day was that Harry got the Bowser's Castle, Lego Bowser's Castle, but he's some sort of weird genius with Lego. He did the whole thing himself, and I didn't even get to help. I was a little bit gutted with that. Yeah, smashed it. It was unbelievable when he come out with it. It was like, done. It's like, what? Yeah, it was crazy. But yeah, other than that, it's shit. I haven't seen my parents, and I've not seen my brother or my sister or my nephew or nephews or my niece or anything. So that really sucks. Things have been a bit shit, as they have been for everyone. So not too great, but not too bad, I think, is the answer to that question. Anyone else want to talk about it? You don't have to.
Not really.
No.
I mean, fine. So yeah, Christmas, like standard sort of nothing really present wise. But Jill did surprise us on Boxing Day with an electric drum kit, which I was over the moon with, because Elodie and I have really missed our drum lessons.
Yeah.
And they said, you can do them online if you want, and we're like, no, we don't do them online. I mean, but yeah, Jill done loads of research, and so we've got an electric drum kit. So now,
amazing.
I need to basically really properly look into soundproofing this room. I mean,
do you
I'm not happy with my audio anyway, because
I suppose, yeah, they're still...
Well, that. But I mean, I've been meaning to do something like soundproof in his room because I decorated in lockdown 1, but it's pretty bare apart from like a desk and, PC and stuff. So I can hear like my voice bouncing off the walls.
Yeah.
So, but after like painting the room and decorating it, I didn't then want to start sticking foam everywhere.
Yeah.
But I'm going to have to now
boxes,
do
mate.
something to both insulate my voice inside and do something to stop the sound of the bass drum. But no, over the moon with that. That's amazing.
Yeah,
I haven't really had a chance to go on it much because we're need to do something with the sound.
I've had to get into
apart from
DIY over Christmas because, we moved to a new place. It just needed a few bits and pieces done. The biggest lesson I learned, use some sort of ear protection when using a hammer drill because I have very badly damaged my right ear now.
Really?
Yeah, pain. Like it feels like someone's got their hand over my ear ever since I did it. It was, didn't go down.
I've used them before and it's not comfortable, but no, it's never got me
Well,
like
I was
that.
drilling into a concrete lintel, which probably didn't help. It wasn't just masonry. It was a little bit more solid than that. And
Jesus.
Yeah, I've been in pain ever since.
Fuck.
So, yeah, it's not good, is it?
Have you got? You can get you can get like ear cameras quite cheap if you want to just.
Okay.
I'm just saying, if you don't want to bother a doctor, just go on Amazon. I think they're like 10, 15 quid, and you just whap it in your phone and have a little rummage.
It'd be a great stream.
It would.
Okay,
I'd watch that.
I'm sure I'll be fine. I'm
just like, if you want to just check your eardrum for damage, that's all.
What was that?
I'm saying if you want to check your eardrum for damage, it might be worth.
Brilliant. Got him.
Fuck's sake. Got him. Look, it's 4 minutes to midnight. All right.
James, you don't want to go into anything?
Not really, no. Sorry.
That's all right. It's fine. You don't have to apologise. That's totally fine. Right. Matt, you do the socials. I'm going to go and check on this fish again. and I'll be back by the time go.
Okay. James, are you streaming?
I am.
Anytime soon?
I am, and I've got something new that I'm going to do. Because I've actually worked out.
Is Alien Isolation done then?
I'm not going back to that. I'm not putting myself through streaming from an Xbox any longer because it's ridiculous. I'm not doing that. So I've got
Great console.
3 games lined up actually, like that I'm going to play over the next couple of months is my plan. And the first one I'm going to play is the next one in the that anthology, the Man of Medan thing. I forgot what it's called.
Oh yeah.
I've forgotten the name.
Little Hope?
That's the one. I'm going to be playing that. That's my next game that I'm going to be playing. I'm going to play that this Friday coming. And I've got it. It's all installed. It's all ready to go. And I'm going to play that. So that's next.
Awesome. So you're playing on PS5,
yes,
right?
That's the plan, yeah.
Superb. Okay, cool. So that's this Friday at 9, and that's it for streams at the moment. If you have Amazon Prime, you have Twitch Prime Gaming, and we really appreciate if you would go over to our Twitch page, twitch.tv/TCGSco, and give us your free monthly subscription. It really, really helps us. We're also on Patreon, patreon.com/TCGS. You can get exclusive monthly podcasts, hear us do live talks overs, and all sorts of stuff, as we mentioned at the start of the show. And you go to tcgs.co, which is the website. There's a store there if you want to get some TCGS merch and some other stuff as well.
You will be happy to know that the fish are swimming around very happy. I think I might have done it. Update next week.
Thank God.
Oh God. But I think we're good. Whew. Nerves. We will catch you next week. Thank you so much for living it. Keep up the gaming. See you next week. Bye, everyone.
Yeah, goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.